gotta leave it to the professionals.
Blessed by Phunky, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been golden when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like the Brown James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Reviews not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a
Body.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
Breaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in shoes. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, mighty, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. Had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain. GM. Thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't already done so, do us a favor, drop us a GM in the chat down below. Then head up top, smash that like, repost, and bookmark on today's space. We greatly appreciate it. Warms up the algo and lets everyone know we're here. And X has been a little finicky lately. I saw another comment from Clay in the chat that he's just getting the plus sign down there instead of the purple pill for chat. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if there's an X update recently that some of us have and some of us don't, but it has been, we had a few people say they requested up yesterday and we did not get them up, didn't see them. So if you're up there and you're requesting up and you're not getting up, let us know in the chat. We'll do our best to keep eyes on it and hopefully power through any tech issues today. But that said, we could use the extra help warming things up today. Go smash that like, repost, and bookmark. Not only is today's space linked up there, you'll also find the link to the abstract chat as well as the YouTube chat and the X video stream. Appreciate the love on all those posts, as well as this carousel. The carousel this week, I was late getting it out and you all punished me. We only got like 13 likes on the carousel for this week. While we're getting things warmed up, would appreciate the extra love on that one as well. As always, I'm Captain with my co-host Steve. Never any financial advice on the show. Crypto is risky, NFTs are risky, meme coins exceptionally risky. Go to 0 to moment's notice. Never put any money in you can't afford to lose. Know that Steve and I are not financial advisors, certainly not your financial advisors, and just here for some fun, some information, and some education along the way. GM Steve, how you doing, sir?
Doing well. GM to everybody out there. We got a ton of people on the YouTubers. Von Front hit GM before we even went live. I don't know how that's possible. RDL was out there. Green Edge, Bee Sting. Love seeing it across all chats. Dun Cookie, GM, Bordo Saka. Good seeing you out there. Mel back in the abstract chat with Green Edge. Quieter abstract chat if you want to get over there on Cap's abstract this morning as well. Appreciate
Big Frosty coming in. Big Frosty's feeling the I don't know if you've noticed, Steve, but I don't think you're out of the Koda game. But if you got a Koda listed, you might want to delist your Kodas. They are ripping, and we don't know why. Frosty celebrating with the big 420 Pingu tip over there. Love to see it.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Teacher Katie, Frosty's big tip, Mesh, Thomas, all of our good friends. Mel, we still don't know what the colors mean. I actually should ask Finn that question at some point to get a clear answer, or Logan. Clay, good seeing you out there in the X chat as well. All of our friends out there. Captain Dad Pants looking extra locked in this morning with whatever it is you have going on there. FFV, Micro, Dobbins, Joey Vowles, Dort, Maria. Cap, I have been so busy. I'm just going to say it out loud. I forgot to send Dort an invite to the stream for Clawfee with Captain. So, Dort, if you are listening and you want to come on stream for Clawfee with Captain, you are more than welcome to. I've had a little bit of a hectic couple of weeks on the personal side on a few things. We don't talk about it here that much just because, people don't come here to hear our woes or issues. They come here to discuss and be entertained. But Dort, if you are out there and you want to come on the stream, let me know. I will DM you if you are able to at 8:30. If not, we can pick some other people, or we can Clawfee with Captain mañana. I'm actually okay with that as well. So we can certainly make that happen. But kind of a crazy end on the family end. Man, it is just stuff stacking, man, between family, some personal stuff. I mentioned my mother-in-law had to go to the ER, get surgery, all the kids stuff that happened. My daughter had to switch her gymnastics day class. My son has an open house for a school and a soccer game on the same day. It's a mess.
Your mother-in-law surgery went well and she's on the mend. I know
she's not feeling great. But she is on the mend, which is good. It was just one of those unexpected things to add into, it's crazy, man. It's like you have these, just to, again, give us a like or retweet a comment on the room, everybody.
Fall off stage again. Or you at least you're appearing on my end as a listener again. I don't know if you fell off or you're actually a listener, but
I'm going to try to accept co-host invite. If not, I'll do a lap if it doesn't work. But, it feels like total chaos, man. Total chaos. There's a couple that we've been wanting to get dinner with for a while, who my son is friends with the kid. We finally arranged it for Saturday night. We're like, hey, we'll have Saturday night. It'll be some fun, nice time. And then my son's soccer game got moved to 8:30 in the morning on Sunday because of Mother's Day, and a lot of kids wouldn't be able to make it on Mother's Day. We're not super big celebrators of Mother's Day and Father's Day in our household. We're happy about it, but we don't make a thing out of it just because, I don't know, we celebrate each other all the time. But yeah, so anyway, long time, kind of a crazy time here. So Clawfee with Captain happening for sure. Or again, we could potentially kick it tomorrow if we should so want to. But if not, Dort should be good at the 8:30 hour. So I'm going to I'll DM him the link to get him on here, and he can join when you're ready to join the StreamYard. So we will pick some Clawfee with Captain people. If you have not been picked for Clawfee with Captain and you are currently listening and you are a regular listener, which we have a bunch of those who are friends, let us know if you are in the chat. I know there's a few people out there. Frostys we should definitely do because Frostys gave that big tip this morning. So we'll say Frostys will be one of them. Frostys, if you're so interested, we will do a Clawfee with Captain this morning, meaning you will get the chance to draw a card from the Beezie claw machine brought to you by our friends over at Beezie. So I'm going to say Dort, Frostys, and we got to pick one more. So, and I still need to dish mine from a couple of weeks ago or from last week. It's just, like I said, it's been a little bit crazy on the personal side, even some stuff I'm not talking about. So, Dort, I will DM you on X with the link to the StreamYard, and we will bring you on around 8:30. I don't know. It's been it's just kind of a crazy time. It's kind of a crazy time, which is all good, but I feel like I can't get my footing underneath me on anything. Frosties, the way to work, just so you know, because Frosties is checking in. So here's how to work, Frosties. We're gonna bring Dort on the stream. there's going to be a claw machine from our friends over at Beezie. So Beezie is a RWA collectible platform. If you so want, because you are just, you're a G and we like you and you're a friend anyway, what we'll do is we will do a claw machine where it will pull a collectible. You pay nothing. It is totally free. You will pull a collectible and you will get to either keep it or swap it. And I'll either send you the cash or the collectible. It's something that we do just to make things happen. Glad you know BZ already. So you're already signed up.
I saw someone hit for like a $600-700 Pokemon yesterday.
Yeah, people are cooking on there. So we'll get it going. We'll get Dort, we'll get Frosties, and one more, for sure in here. But Cap, I know we got probably about 20 minutes, half hour till we are drawing Claw. What do you have on your tick list today?
Well, I have a few things before we get out of cold open here. One, I will drop up top for I know the Ape Chain merch fans are rampant out there. Shout out to Ape Whale and friend of the show, OG in the space, dropped the Ape Chain socks yesterday. I pinned those up top just now. Anyone's looking for some quality Ape Chain socks, go get it. I also pinned Steve's chart and spreadsheet on the Dude airdrop. All the chats, as we mentioned earlier, up there. And there's a pool also. We've been talking meme coin launch pads. That runs for a few more hours today. Carousel, as I mentioned, go smash that. And then last but not least, we've talked closer walkout songs on this show before, right?
I don't think I've heard talk about walkout. I used to talk about walk-in songs. We never talked about walkout songs. No, yeah, I don't know.
Greatest walkout song of all time.
Oh, you're saying walkout, like you are saying walkout, like you're like I always say walk up. You're saying like your walkout song is the song you come out to.
So I think we've talked like in general, like walkout songs, like for a batter, but like walkout songs for a closer in baseball. Like
oh, dude, when the Mets closer had that
okay, that's where I was gonna. You've seen it, and Timmy Trumpet. You've seen the live.
Yeah, absolutely, that's the best.
I was listening to it on loop this morning. That was my getting pumped for the show. You
want to hear a proof of simulation? This is so strange that you say that. This is actually
Dave's right. Inner Sandman was the GOAT. Yeah, I agree. That and it just so happens that Mariano Rivera is the greatest closer of all time. So that was the GOAT. I don't have a dog in the race. I'm not a Yankees fan, not a Mets fan. I appreciate greatness. Inner Sandman will always be up there. As you got to give credit to Trevor Hoffman of the Padres, same era as Mariano Rivera, came out to the AC/DC song, was also pretty fire. But the live performance of Timmy Trumpet, it's got them all beat. It's just, how could you not be pumped? Like, I want to go to a Mets game just so he doesn't do it live every time, but yeah, it's just incredible.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping the Mets making the playoffs and having the whole world see that would be a dream come true. It's so cool. No, this is again, I've had a lot of proof of simulation moments happen to me recently that are very, very strange. Like one of the I've had an increasing number of odd coincidences, and I don't know if it's just the effect that I'm noticing them more or what, but this Spotify has a For You list, or no, I'm sorry, a Discover Weekly list, which I like. So every week just loads up songs based on and it's this amalgamation of my family's listening habits, which makes it really interesting because I'll get my son's songs, my daughter's songs, my wife's songs. Plays a lot of songs that sound like they'd be on my workout list because my workout list is I listen to every day when I'm on the treadmill or working out. But Timmy Trumpet was on this morning when I was driving to Starbucks. I swear. And I thought consciously about it. So Joey Valles with the wild thing, Ricky Vaughn, good call, a little major league action there. But that is such a bizarre thing that you would bring it up this morning. And I listened to it this morning on my way getting Starbucks. Oh, Mel says, I had the most odd proof of simulation happen this week, hands down. I immediately thought of you guys specifically because Captain keeps saying we're in one. I'm increasingly convinced we're just playing a video game. I don't think it's the case. By the way, we're matching again. Didn't even notice. So check that one off the box. I didn't notice that, but until just now. But Cap and I are wearing the same hoodie, which again happens when you only own 6 hoodies and overlap on 5 of them.
Well, I heard it back-to-back days, so any bettors we would have thrown him off. Threw him the curveball yesterday, talking closers here, because I only had it on for the show yesterday, and so it was still no need of a wash. Just threw it over on the chair, and I just threw it back on today.
See,
So, yeah.
you take care of yours. Here's what I like about mine. I think I've shown this before on the show. So this hoodie, this Bored Ape Yacht Club hoodie, I wore into the ground in 2021. I clothes, hoodies, shoes, they're for wearing. That's how I see them, right? And I eventually got to the same place as you where I'm not super into wearing giant ape skulls out in public too often. As much I used to all the time. I, still proud of the club and all that, but it's like not really my jam. I like the Hong Kong one that's like one night, only or whatever. That gray one's really nice. The ones for Lisbon are really well done tastefully. This one has become my workout hoodie, and I kind of have a point of pride. It's not even going to show up well on the camera. I've got this hole in the sleeve here. You can kind of see the fray there if you're looking at it. But like I've basically got it. It's got holes. It's kind of like pulled up, and it's stylish because of that. So now it looks like this stylish beat up vintage hoodie. But it's like I think it's a great gym hoodie in that sense. Like wearing it when you're doing squats, when you're like doing pull-ups. It'll get you. So it's got like this sort of vibe feels like that hardcore, that punk rock that you're wearing it to the gym hoodie versus like some of the other ones which I think are a little bit nicer. But yeah, man, like it's same hoodie. Got that going. I just wore it because I'm relatively meeting free today. I've got actually some important stuff to prep for tomorrow with some meetings that are pretty important to me. So I was getting ready for those today, but probably gonna try to eat quickly and work out after the show so I can get straight to work. So because of that, I'm wearing the workout hoodie this morning. So it'll be this, then it'll be 30 minutes of stretching, a little bit of food, and probably a few miles and some gonna actually probably do some legs today, lift some squats, get some deadlifts in. I use the what's that?
I have a confession.
Shoot it.
Last week at the gym, I've shared this before. I don't talk to anyone at the gym. I'm headphones in. I just go through my thing. And I'm like there's one guy, his name coincidentally also happens to be Chris. We've had a few conversations and I've been going to the same gym for like over 4 years now. So I'm a very outgoing person, except at the gym. Like I'm there to get, I'm there to focus. I'm not like, I don't want to spend 2 hours in the gym conversing for 90 minutes and then getting a 30-minute workout in. So a lot of people probably think I'm some like stuck up asshole. I would imagine like most don't think I like me. So anyways, I'm not a conversationalist at the gym. There's this one woman that is it's like the gym crush, just tall, just like in a non weirdo way. She's an attractive lady. And
real quick before you finish that, is it weird that we've gotten to a point where I think we're coming out of it, but if you acknowledge that someone is a good-looking man or good-looking woman, people are like, oh, what are you doing here? Like, I'm married, and I'll say I'll be talking to Dawn. I'll be like, that is a very attractive woman, or that is a very attractive man. And it's like, why is it such a faux pas that you have to caveat and you have to qualify, be like, it's gym crush. Look, I mean, she's just an attractive woman. I'm not doing anything. I'm not weird. I'm not creepy. It's like, I don't know, if I walk by and someone gives me a look, that's cool. It's cool for someone to think you are an attractive human being. So why is it a faux pas? When did this become a thing? Because when we were growing up, it was not a thing. When we were growing up, it was very normal. It's like the past 10 years, it's been weird to acknowledge that someone has a symmetrical face.
I haven't really thought about it. I haven't consciously thought about it. This is probably not a thing I should think through live on recorded show, but
yeah, probably not.
Is it some side effects of the whole Me Too movement? Does the time, because you said the timing kind of lines up. It would become just more, I don't know, paranoid about that sort of stuff.
That's what I wonder, because it reminds me of, I've talked about this on the show before because I'm pretty open about it. I've worked in large corporate environments. I enjoy those large corporate environments, but it got to the point where it was tense enough where probably in the, I'd say 2017, 2018 range, particularly, I was I would if I was Taco Tuesday, people would be like, whoa, bro, Taco Tuesday is a little bit offensive. And I'm like, I like tacos. It's Tuesday. It's delicious. So I don't know. It's not meant to be prejudice or racist or anything like that. It's meant to say it's a delicious food. I like to eat it on a day when there's alliteration that goes along with the food. Waffle Wednesday's awesome. Nobody's getting mad about that. Although we weren't allowed to bring we didn't have our whole team on Waffle Wednesday, so I used to do Waffle Wednesday Thursday at one point. But like, I don't know, like people get upset at that. It's like around that same time, I do feel like it was just like people were a little more uptight. Yeah.
And it isn't about the like, please don't take this the wrong way or out of context. Like some people that got exposed during that Me Too movement, they were awful human beings and they should have been exposed. I think like not just the whole Me Too movement, like a lot of things just went way too far in terms of just people being offended over everything.
The pendulum swung. And so anyway, I didn't mean to stop your story, but it's like even when you say that, when you're like, there's like my gym crush, that's like a perfectly normal thing. Like you can have a gym crush, you can have a work crush, you can have a whatever crush. It's like a person that you're like, hey, I acknowledge that this person like seems like they have it together. And maybe they're psychotic or maybe they're not great, but there's something about energies. I also think there's something about energies that matter. Like I will meet someone and I will have an instant reaction to them. I'll meet someone who is statistically the most attractive person you could meet and be like, I don't vibe with this person at all and don't find them the least bit attractive. Like you can have it go both ways. So I think energy plays into it too. You probably feel a vibe from whoever this person is. Not like you think like, hey, they're into me. Just like you're like, hey, I have a gym crush. It's weird to me that like it's so uncomfortable to say like, I have a gym crush. And you have to caveat like, I'm not some weirdo at the gym who stares. It's like, I don't know. Like I get it. And like Aziz Ansari had a really good skit on this in one of my favorite, Netflix specials he does, which is funny, where he talks about like his he talks about going to the coffee shop and he has this crush on this like coffee lady and he's like my friend's like, you should just talk to her, and he's like, yeah, what am I gonna do? He'd be like, hey, so every day when I buy coffee I like to stare at your face. Like it's like, it's like it can be weird when you put it that way, but it's like, I don't know. Anyway, I didn't mean to cut off your story. You can talk about your gym crush, but like I don't think you should have to apologize for acknowledging that, it's like someone's like, at the gym, you find, so what? Anyway, go on. Sorry. So, it bothers me.
Anyways, was doing a leg day and it was, like the isolated,
couple extra plates. She was watching.
No, I followed. It just so happened like the machine, so like and didn't re-rack her weights. And so I wasn't taking any off and just left it the same. And I did it just fine. And then I couldn't walk for like 2 days.
Oh, so this lady's got like she's stronger than you. She doesn't skip leg day, and you probably you don't exactly mix in the funky leg days.
I don't skip it, but I go through the motions. I definitely do not push myself, especially on leg day. And we'll just say like, yeah, it was. I didn't come off it puking, but the next day I was like, okay, no more showing off at the gym.
Yeah. You're like, I'm definitely not following her. And she walks up to the bench press and just puts 225 on. And you're like, not following that. Not going to happen. You're actually my gym crush is China from the WWE, actually, is like what it is, or, whatever. RIP China. By the way, rough day for China. When she passed away, same day as Prince. So people celebrated her for about an hour and a half. And then Prince died and she got her Death Thunder stolen by Prince. So that was not great. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's all good. But no, be careful out there. I'm lifting legs today. I am a more go through the motions person because I'm not trying to ruin myself getting swole anymore. It's not like I'm training for, I'm not training to be an NFL linebacker. I'm just trying to be in shape and not be disgusting. So, doing what I can. So Cap, before we get, I know we got Dort coming on here. We're going to do Clawfee with Cap in about 10 minutes. We'll pick some other people. We're going to do Dort. We're going to do Frostys if you're still around and be able to do that. And we'll keep moving on, getting some other people on here as well. It just shows me a speaker again now. I don't know what's going on with Spaces.
I just reset the co-host.
I'm going to try again in a minute, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work at some point. But last ask, give us a like, a retweet, a comment on the room. Frosties, you don't even have to join us. You can just hang there. And as long as you're paying attention, you're going to get to choose and you're going to get a claw pull. We're going to have Dort on the stream, but you're going to be able to just hang. So we got you on it. Appreciate that. Diego's really feeling it. We're going to run it back with Diego. I know Diego's gotten one before, but Diego is a good one. We're going to do Diego as well.
Real quick before we get out of quote open, Phoenix says in the chat, rainy Tuesday here in New York. Timmy Trumpet is my kid's Little League song when he comes up to bat. coincidentally hearing that song at a Met game got him to pick up the trumpet in the school band.
I like that. My son's picking up the trumpet, by the way. Heartwarming moment. He said, I was like, why do you want to play trumpet? And he goes, because you did, Dad, which was pretty awesome. I was quite the trumpeter in high school. Don't want to toot my own horn, but I was quite good and could have actually played college, which sounds the most nerdy thing you could say is I could have gone to college for trumpet, but
anywhere except the best damn band in the land.
No. Actually, that was where I got music sent from to go to. But
I'm saying like it's nerdy anywhere except there.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, like I would have been okay if I had done that, but
you're like one step down from the football team if you're on the band at Ohio State.
People respect that band. It's not like seen as like, oh, you're nerds, you're band geeks, whatever. Like people are like, oh, you're in the band. Respect.
It's
like,
elite.
Yeah,
I know I'm biased and I know it more, but I mean it's like renowned as one of, if not the most entertaining college band, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's like a very small handful.
Like when you see clips, I know it's my algo probably skews a little bit Ohio State, but I don't think I've ever seen. I can't remember seeing another clip of a college marching band in my X feed, and I've seen the Ohio State band multiple times because they do like the Michael Jackson doing the moonwalk, and it's just like it's a really creative, talented group of kids.
Yeah, like Purdue's got the big drum. It's like congrats on your drum, guys. Like your drum. It's like a gimmick. You're like Frank Caliendo of bands. You got to
other stuff is like I think of Virginia Tech. Talking like Inner Sandman. I think of like Virginia Tech, and like that's cool. It's not the band. It's like it's a cool entrance, but yeah, the Ohio State band.
Or like I mean, Stanford's not bad. Cal does some cute stuff where they like do some like hilarious like parody type stuff. When they played Miami this year and it was Coke versus Woke, that was fun and they played into it. But yeah, I don't know. Cap, before we get Dort on here and do
another Buckeye, we're gonna have three I can't say alumni, but three because myself, but three former Ohio State attendees rooted on that best damn band in the land here soon on stage.
Yeah. No, alumni. I believe alumni covers student. So I think former student covers alumni. So I think you are an alumni, even though you did not graduate.
Today I learned.
Yeah, I think so.
I might have learned that.
Yeah, I was going to say, you might have learned that in college if you stuck around. But I might be wrong, though. If I'm wrong, I look like an idiot. But we'll see. Rare Ed. Oh, sorry. Rare Ed. I thought I had you on for last week. I'm terrible at keeping track of this. So here's what we're going to do. Rare Ed, you are 1,000% on this week. Diego, we are going to push you to next week, so you better stick around and be here next Tuesday. It's a Rare Ed week. I thought for some reason I had on my chart that I don't know. Like, I'm bad at keeping track of this. I should actually have a spreadsheet and make it work. But Rare Ed, you are on this week. Thank you for speaking up. Always feel free to speak up. So, Diego, you are next week. I know that you'll be cool with that because you're cool. Diego's awesome. And we'll get Clawfee with Captain going in a second here. Because I know Dort's gonna jump in, and we want to be respectful of his time as we get it all started up. But again, last call. Give us a like, a retweet, a comment on the room. As mentioned, before we get into Clawfee with Captain, if you didn't see it, there was a $684 Beezie pull of a 2023 Black Star promo Pikachu with a gray felt hat. So it's a huge swapperino. I hit a retweet on that one if you want to go to my feed. So we're going to go Dort, Frostys, and Rare Ed this week on the Claw. So let's do this. I have a few topics to cover, but we're going to get right into the Claw. And again, I am scrambling this week because it is a crazy week. People understand why probably in a few weeks. Hopefully, we shall see. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and start Clawfee with Captain and bring our buddy Dort on stage.
Coffee with Captain. Give that claw a spin. Raw to grills from Beezie. Prizes within. Mystery and magic. Where to we begin? Coffee with Captain. It's your time to.
And it's time for Clawfee with Captain, brought to you by Beezie, the best marketplace for resellers from Pokemon and One Piece to cards and sneakers, video games, comics, and more. All collectibles are stored securely in your Brinks vault and can be redeemed anytime. Plus, it's the only place you will find the Claw. Now, if you're looking at Dort and he looks familiar, it's because he is the good vibes man of all men. Like, I feel like you are the good vibes guy, both in the good vibes community and just in general as a good vibes guy. How you doing, Dort?
Yo, I appreciate that. I'm gonna have to I guess my reputation precedes me, but yeah, doing well today. Thanks for having me on. Big fan of the good vibes in all forms.
Yeah, for sure. And by the way, Rare Ed, I'm going to make a promise.
Dort and I are actually almost neighbors. I think we live like 8 minutes from each other.
This is true. Yeah.
You guys should have been together for this, Joey. We should have planned it out, but I didn't even plan it out well going in on this thing. So we're gonna make it work. But and Rare Ed, good. Be Epic. When am I sending last week? I'm gonna send them today or tomorrow. I normally send them within 24 hours, but like I said, had a little bit of a personal snafu and have been trying to keep my life on track. I am hanging on by a thread, but we're gonna make it work. But in the meantime, we're going to remind people what's going on here today. So we have our 3 contestants that we are going to bring up for the Claw. We got Dort live here on camera with us. We have Frostys in the chat, and we have Rare Ed in the chat. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw. When we draw, Dort is going to have a choice to swap or not what we pull from here. Now, if you're not familiar with the claw machine, what's inside here is various items that you can get. So things like Air Jordans that are $200+, some retros, some great cards, the Mysterious Treasures Pikachu, PSA 9, some pretty awesome things you can pull. You can see the different shoes. There are booster packs in here, all sorts of things that you can pull. Basically, 2/3 of the time, you're going to pull something that is at the $30 claw pull or below, but 1/3 of the time, and if you're a gambler, I know you like this, you're going to pull something that is at least EV or above, meaning it is worth a little bit more from the claw. So it's a ton of collectibles you're able to do there. And when you get that collectible, the good part is you can choose to redeem it and Beezie will send it to your house, or you can choose to keep it right there vaulted. They have a Brinks vault where they keep it. The NFT proves your ownership of it. You could sell it. It's a great marketplace for resellers if you put things out there. So we will pin our, we'll definitely pin our ref link up top if you are not familiar with Beezie and using it. But if you are familiar with Beezie, recommend playing around with the claw a little bit. It's super fun. A lot of Beezie fans in the chat. So Dort, are you ready for your poll?
Oh man, I'm so ready. Thanks for having me back on Beezie, Joey. I appreciate it. I'm pumped. Let's get it going.
Good luck.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Cap, we'll get some music going and we will do a poll. So what you'll see again is the $30 poll. We mentioned what's inside. Really cool animation, cool concept that I think we all love here. I have some money loaded by our friends at Beezie, so I hit start. Just let this thing go. Takes a couple of minutes to load. It's all done lovely on the blockchain, and we will get Dort pulling his item here. Now, I feel good about this. I think it is time for us to have a big pull. We had a bigger pull last week, a nice plus EV one for Mel. Now we'll see what happens for Dort. $9. All right, so you got a $9 Crown Zenith Raihan. I'm actually not familiar with this one in particular. Good looking card though. PSA 8 from 2003. 15 minutes to swap for your $9. Dort, do you want the card or do you want the $9 swap fee with a little bit of a fee taken out when you do the swap?
Swap it and I'll cover the balance for a tag pull. If you want.
All right. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
Awesome. So
I'll take you up. Let's go.
We're going to swap this one. It's going to get us $8.46. We're going to wait for that to swap. Joey Valos has kindly said he wants his friend Dort to get a tag pull, which we'll do in a second. That is another machine we have going on. So Dort's going to hang tight while we do the other pulls. So while that swaps, Frostys, you are going to be up next. We're gonna put our guy Rare Ed as batting cleanup, or I guess in the 3-hole when we do that. But Frostys, this is your pull. So here's what we're going to do, Frostys. If you are there, we're going to do the pull. Then you're going to have the choice to swap it or keep it. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing booted up now. And you can tell us swap or not. We'll give you about 30 seconds to do your swap or not, or a little bit longer because there is a delay on the space. So again, big pull. Our guy Frost, he's got good karma. Gave a good tip to Cap this morning. Kodas are running. You have to feel with how pure Frostys is running. We're going to get a big one here. All right, 31.5. Okay, a plus, just barely plus EV. It's a Japanese Lost Abyss Rontum card. It's a pretty cool one. PSA 10 2022. You want me to send this card to your vault, or do you want me to swap Frosties? I'll give you a couple minutes. You said LFG, so I'm thinking you might like the card. But if you want to swap it, let us know, and we will swap it and send you the cash. Give you about 15, 20 seconds on that one. See what happens, and if you decide to swap, we'll swap. If not, we will send you the card afterwards. Like I said, I will make sure I am very... want to swap it? All right, if you want to swap, I will... Frosty is actually saying swap it, and you know what? This is actually an interesting thing. It's about 29 plus on the swap, so we're going to swap it for Frosties, like you said, and we're going to run it again. I like this mentality. It's a gambler. So, addiction hits already, Keck, from Rene in the chat. I love that. So, Frosties, we'll do this. We're going to draw you one more and see what happens. I like the gambler mentality that Frosties brought to the table. Another 420 tip. Really trying to pull in the good karma here this morning for Frosty. So we shall see. So Koda's running 420 Pengu tip coming in. I expect Frosties to get a big pull here with that sort of karma. Let's go. $14 in the downside, but still like the gamble. It's actually a pretty dope card. I actually like this card a lot. You tell me, Frosties. Again, PSA 8 2024 Japanese Cyber Judge. Do you want? It's fine. I'll take it. All right. We will get Frosties the card. Beautiful card. I like the gamble though, Frosties, and appreciate you very much. This last pull is for our guy Rare Ed. Rare Ed, a scholar, a gentleman, shows up every day. Owed the pull here, and so excited to see what Rare Ed pulls. We do have 1+ EV pull so far today, or at least one even pull today. We got Dort coming up on the tag machine in a second. So, Rare Ed, here we go. I'm feeling this one. We're going to get a big pull for Rare Ed. All right, $45. That's plus EV. Rare Ed, this is a great card. So you have a decision to make. Do you want to swap it and take the cash, or do you want to have the card? You tell us, Rare Ed. Great pull, great opportunity. You tell us what you're thinking. Keeping it. Rare Ed's getting the card. So Rare Ed is getting the card. I will double check on this one afterwards and make sure I get everybody their proper cards. And we have one more claw pull to do because Joey Valves is sponsoring a claw pull from the tag machine for our guy Dort. Dort, are you ready?
I'm ready. Send it. Let's go.
Let's pull it. All right. Dort is ready. We're doing the claw pull. Now, again, tag, really cool grading system. We were looking for the tag grade now. You might be familiar with PSA. Tag is also a grader, so we're looking for a tag graded card from the tag machine partnership with Beezie. These are $25, similar odds to the other machine. There we go. 45. I actually own this card, I believe. It's a great card, Dort, but it is a plus EV pull, so shout out Joey Vowels. Do you want to swap it and take the cash, or do you want the card?
Oh, man, that card looks like up only, so I'm going to sit on the card.
I'm going
to sit on the card, give it a few years, let it appreciate. It's already graded, so yeah, send it to the vault, baby.
I guess the alpha is me sponsor your polls. Is that what it is? That's how everyone keeps hitting these big cards?
Yeah. I actually think Joey sponsored Mel's poll. I want to say Joey sponsored Mel's poll that got the big poll where she swapped the shoes and made some cash out there. So that was good. But Dort, I will send this to your vault. I like that you are a man of a particular taste. You are an investor and a collector. And,
yes.
You're ready to see this thing be 10x in the next 10 years. I like
that. Oh yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Yeah. Thank you guys for having me on. That was it's surreal to be on here finally.
It's awesome having you, man. Appreciate you. You are welcome on anytime. We appreciate your opinions. Do you want to give any thoughts on anything before you get out of here, whether it's Good Vibes Club or anything else? You did a great interview
of this segment and its name.
Yeah.
I had a different name for this. It came in second. I'm not even sure if I can say the name without getting like a DMCA takedown or something. But I respect I respect Von Front. He's a superior man at naming segments. I'll admit to that. but yeah, man, I'm just a huge fan of all things that end with club. BAYC, obviously, Good Vibes Club, hitting it on all cylinders, and they really even haven't started yet. So, so really excited for what they're bringing to the space inexplicably in 2025. Didn't think I'd see this kind of thing happen, but it's happening, and yeah, excited to have a nice bag of those, and just a great community. Great interactive founders. Yeah, I'm here for the vibes.
I love that. Yeah, it's the perfect club for Dort, just being such a good vibes guy. And I love myself some good vibes club. So they are cooking, and I'm sure we'll be getting that. But Dort, appreciate you joining us, and I'm sure you'll be back on again at some point. I will send those cards. I got a lot of cards to send out today. So today, I'm going to block time and send some cards. I promise. So everybody out there looking for cards, they're coming your way today. Or if you got cash from the swap like Mel, I'll send it to you, and we will get everything sorted out. But yeah, Joey is the alpha. Appreciate you, Dort, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, guys. Thank you. Have a great Tuesday. Cheers.
Right on. All right, Cap. Kill the music. Get back in the show. Go ahead. Go ahead, Joey.
Real quick. This is the final week of our XP quests. I'm going to pin up top what this week's prize is. So we ran it for 4 weeks. I believe we're picking five winners this week, where in the past it's been like 1 or 2 or 3 people. We actually have 5 different winners. So you can earn XP by playing the claw, and the more you play, then you get a multiplier on your XP. So we've got 5 cards we're giving away this week in the final week. It's been incredibly popular and successful, so there could be a chance we continue with these kind of XP quests. And then also we have our Rip and Ship. This is the 4th week of the test as well with Dachshund Wizard, where you can buy sealed product and have him rip it live on stream. And then you could either have it shipped to you or donated based on whether or not you have hits, et cetera, et cetera. So all kinds of really cool stuff going on. Continuing to get feedback from the community and build. We're a big believer in community-focused building. So if you have feedback and you want to be a part of helping build Beezie, jump in the Discord, drop some suggestions. We're always listening.
Right on. Beezie is crushing it. I mean, got Diego, the claw is so addictive. I know we've had a lot of people who have found their love of collecting reinvigorated on Beezie. I know I have. Like I said, I need to flip out my collection a little bit with some of the polls that I need to send to our various friends from the last week and a half, but we'll get those out. But I mean, I have a decent sized collection on there. It's just a cool thing to do. I like collecting, and if you were into collecting, it is a pure opportunity to do so. But Law of the Saw saying Dort rules. Doomer saying Joey is for sure rigging this thing, because every time Joey Valls gets involved, Joey Valls got the gold touch. He's got the Midas touch, which I appreciate, and we do appreciate you, Joey. Get out there, get on Beezie, go quest, have fun with it, and yeah, get that thing going. Cap, we can go to a lot of different topics.
Hit the ref link up top if you've not yet set up your account. Make sure you get your Beezie account set up.
Yeah, hit the ref link up top if you have not already. Like I said, I will go into my DMs and get it sorted out today, because I've been meaning to get it on streak and get it done. And I'm just something that I try to do a day of when I can. It's just sometimes it's messy.
And we don't have to spend a lot of time on it. But as we're transitioning, the daily market update will be coming back here soon. Not a full update, but I know we've been talking Good Vibes Club. Just wanted to fly over it. It's up another 10% on the day on major volume. 263 sales, couple hundred ETH, 0.71 ETH. This Morusa is another one that minted out recently, up to 0.51 ETH. And then we were talking Kodas, up 21% on the day. Yes, there's some bias baked into this. As you know, I've been bullish on Kodas since mint, and was wrong, at least on the time frame. But I'll double down on the take, and I still think they are going to have a major run this cycle. I would say if other side's a hit, I just there's so many things they could do there, from agents, and I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. All I know is there's only 180 listed, and similar to, we were talking yesterday about good buys and people collecting. Yes, the floor ripped up to 2.12, but we still see like, the aesthetic ones in particular, Kodas with weapons go for more of a premium. It's difficult, maybe they don't nail other side right away when they turn it on here, in a month or so. Maybe there's no incentives, maybe there's no rewards. But what if there is? Right? It's like Bored Ape Yacht Club has held up without really any known catalyst or any known airdrops or anything like that coming soon. Doodles has an airdrop coming soon. What happens after that airdrop, I think, will largely depend on, to some degree, be based on how well DreamNet is received. I just think with other side, it's maybe it is still years away before it really takes off, but it's been a long time since Yuga had a liquidity event and for any of their collections. And these Kodas are one that everyone expected a liquidity event at some point. It's Yuga's second PFP primary collection, right? Or avatar, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I am cautiously optimistic, cautiously bullish, but I do think that, like Mel was even talking about, I think like if people are going to, if other side is something that excites people and they want to get in there and experiment and build, I think there's probably a lot worse bets than a Koda, because I foresee not only might number go up, might there be some airdrop or some incentive, I think there could also be access. I think there could also be things that you could do with it, whether it's an agent inside this other side world or something else. I don't know. I would be surprised if Yuga doesn't do anything with the Kodas.
I think they have to do something,
and it doesn't land, right? There is also that as a possibility, is they do something and it's just, there's a token that goes to zero, or they just don't find product market fit. I don't think nothing is coming, and we haven't really heard anyone outside of the existing core, niche community talking about them for a while.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We used to get in like drag out arguments on this show about it when I'm like, we don't know what a Koda is. And like, you would try to explain it and I'd be like, we still don't know what a Koda is, because we didn't have like clarity on it. And I know the thought process that you had said, where it was like, look, like it's a PFP, Yuga PFPs go to premium. But I do think, to be fair, at the time that you had that argument, a Bored Ape Yacht Club was a 6-figure asset. A Mutant Ape Yacht Club might even be a 6-figure asset at that time when you were talking Kodas. And I think now with where we're at, I don't know what a Koda can do. Now, I don't know if there are regulatory, issues. I don't know if they never had a plan. I don't know if, development times got slowed down based on, the other side. I know they're ripping. I like Kodas. I think they're cool. I think they're cool NFTs. And not to dog our guy Frostys, who's in the chat here, because I know that Frostys just, won himself a card. He's feeling good, but I don't know. Like, I struggle to know what would. At the time, I said I don't know justifies the value of a Koda. Now I'm trying to figure out like what it might possibly do, and I'm hoping that we get some more clarity from Yuga and Bored Ape Yacht Club and the team and everybody on the direction that this is going, because you have these assets out there that people are excited about. The decoupling was a big deal when they decoupled from the the lands, but I don't know I just don't know what they could possibly do that would drive financial value to them. I'm not saying that they're not cool or they won't have game value, but like financial value, that would be
they'll be the earners. I mean, to me, it's like, that's very, I don't want to say simple, but I think that's the easiest dot to
What does
connect.
that mean though? What does that mean to you? Like when you say that?
Well, I think there's going to be a variety of different ways that you'll be able to earn ApeCoin in different other side experiences. And I think not all, but I think in many of those experiences, it would make sense where you could see the Koda as I don't say an overpowered character or in-game asset, but one that it's got a multiplier. Like it just earns more. It gathers resources faster. Like the challenging thing to say what it could do is because other side isn't a game. It's a platform. It's a world that others are going to come and build in. So while Yuga could do things, there could be a Yuga-led liquidity event. I'm much more talking about if other sides a hit. I realize it's a big if. I realize it's a, they are swinging for the fences with it, and there's a probability is that they swing and miss. Like it's a very tough task that they're doing, attempting to launch other side. If they hit, if it's a massive success, I think it's going to be largely due to they've created an environment, a world where a lot of other builders want to build in and create other games and other experiences. Part of the 21 cycle, it wasn't just the Yuga airdrops. It was Botto, it was Steppen, it was Rollbit, it was all these other third-party protocols, platforms, NFT collections. They viewed the apes at the top of the Yuga ecosystem. I believe, apes will be relevant in other side, but I believe Kodas will be at the top of the other side ecosystem. And therefore, if it's a win, if it's a hit, and you have a lot of other builders, I think Kodas could be set up to receive outsized rewards in those ecosystems. And a lot of those could be third parties. Like, I don't know what's coming, but like, what's the Botto in the other side? What's the Steppen in the other side? Like, if those happen, I mean, these aren't minor airdrops. These were 4- and 5-figure airdrops that happened multiple times. And if that's just, maybe none of it happens. I think if other sides a hit in that scenario, I think it will be likely not just that Yuga's done a good job, but I think it's going to be a lot of other builders. And I think a lot of those other builders, it's likely that they reward Kodas more so, or at least as much as any other assets in those ecosystems. Muted.
Yep, that one's my bad. Do third parties care about rewarding apes anymore? Like, I don't think they do. Like, and I'm not trying to be like harsh,
but maybe not apes. But yes, I think the other side builders will absolutely care about rewarding Kodas. I mean, you think about like Von Doom. Von Doom does this for a living. Like, he's a professional game builder, and he's launching an experience in other side. Like, you don't think Von Doom's going to reward apes and Kodas? Like, I would be shocked if not. And I don't know. Maybe there's no incentives there. I think a lot of these will have incentives, and yeah, I think Kodas will be rewarded for people that are building another side. Maybe not, but I would be surprised if they're not.
Yeah, I guess that's the way to think about it, where it's like, but I guess there's like that diminishing returns of like, what can those builders and other side provide, right? Or is it just game related things, and do those game related things? And I'm not saying everything has to have a financial return. That's part of the thing that I know we're getting away from this space. But I think like if you're looking at trends, which we talked about, like we talk about trends and where the opportunity is, I like to look at trends of where the disproportionate rewards are for, certain levels of participation.
Mm-hmm.
In 2021, it was apes. In 2025, it's Kaido, right? Like, and I'm not like a Kaido guy. Like I'm not a Kaido guy. Like, I think people think I don't like Kaido because I've said it's a marketing tool and people get really upset. They're like, it's info-fi. I'm like, I think the data is not super clean all the time, but I think that it's a good platform for marketing. And I think if you are trying to get passively rewarded, or I should say actively rewarded is the right way to put it, it's like in 2021, being an active ape got you rewards. You were in a top community. People wanted your money, your liquidity, your, influence. They wanted you on the timeline. I think on Kaido, I think now it's Kaido.
I agree.
More so than anything else. And I don't know, like, I think the idea of like, I hold an NFT and I get the rewards, like the only one that's like that is going to be Penguins with Abstract, because there is an airdrop pending there. But I don't know that like I think if you're holding a Koda, you're holding a Koda as a gaming asset. That will be my take. Like, I don't think it's like when you say they're the earners, I don't know that there's a lot there. So I don't know. I just think about that, and I think like that's the, like, I'm certainly, I have a couple important things to take care of in the next couple of days, but I'm going to start focusing on Kaido a little bit more, and like I'm going to pick a couple ecosystems and I'm going to be a little bit more involved in them.
Smart. Yeah, I don't think I don't think it's going to take much like it's a I shouldn't say that. It's a lot. It takes a lot to have a win, right? It takes a lot to capture attention, especially wider attention in this space. But if they get a win with other side, if it's received well, if there's a hit, I think things could move fast. And there's multiple ways to like, if you think that ecosystem is something you're going to explore, or if you're excited to build in or participate in, yeah, you could go buy a deed. You could look at Kodas. People in the abstract aren't mentioning Kodamaras. Like that might be an out. Like I just these assets are. I believe they're going to come and play at some point. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't talk to that other side team. I don't know what they're building. I don't know what they're working on. I just think I would be personally surprised if there's not something there. Now, if it's a scale of 10, if it's is it a 9 or a 10? I don't know. If it is, then I think things could really run. Even if it's a 5 or 6, I think you could start seeing some excitement starting to flow back into that, or maybe not, and the whole thing goes to zero. I guess my point is it's more than just deeds to participate and effectively make a bet on that ecosystem that is, as far as I know, still planned to go live next month.
Yeah, we're a month away from Persistent Other Side, aren't we? Which, as far as I know,
and I bring it up now because if it is a success and it's something you're excited about or interested in or want to be participating in, you usually don't want to wait until like it's a massive success, because then number is going to go up. This is where, and then we start hearing, I want to play at this level, but I can't because it's 5 ETH just to get access. Like I just like looking ahead. You can get yourself in trouble. Don't overextend yourself. Don't put any money in you can't afford to lose, because if they turn it on and it breaks and they got to shut it down and it pause for another 12 months, then those assets are going backwards. I just, we know this is coming. We know it's something they've been worked on for a really long time. I'm excited about it. I'm rooting for them, but I also really have no idea what is getting turned on in June. So part of my excitement, Steve, is it's the first time in a while I've been anticipating something that I don't really know what I'm even looking forward to. And that was part of the magic, I think, in 21.
If you're Yuga Labs, how do you bring in? So Yuga Labs and Bored Ape Yacht Club have some detractors. There's a lot of people who are upset because the apes got, financially rewarded early on, and there are people who missed out on that. There are other people yet who still made their entire personality hating Bored Ape Yacht Club. Even people, Garga's made this comment before, where there's people who literally made 6 figures off Bored Ape Yacht Club through airdrops and other things, who have then made their entire personality hating on Bored Ape Yacht Club. How, if you're Yuga, do you go about getting people to participate in your ecosystem because I imagine it's really hard to add like pudgy penguins to Other Side, right? Because of the coding involved in all that. Like, do you work with them? Is it still become a Yuga-centric product? Like, because they have the Voyagers. Like, how do you get other ecosystems? Do you do poker tournaments on there? Do you do, battle royales on there? How do you get other ecosystems excited? Is it like a reward system I could see where it's like you do, penguins versus apes, you pick a team and they keep teams even and winners get a certain amount of, cash or something. I don't know. Like, how do you go about this? Like, how do you, like, you could even do what would be really fun. I know this will never happen. What about like an old fashioned mayor's bet type thing where, apes versus penguins, even teams in Other Side, and the losing sort of, Garga or Luca changes their PFP to a penguin or an ape or something, right? It's like stuff like that. Like, but how do you get them involved? Like, what are the tactics? Which I've just thought about this in 30 seconds. I have to think they're thinking about this, right? Because they can't just sustain Other Side based on apes alone. So what do you think the tactics or the play is here to try to bring everyone back?
Good question. I mean, my first thought is like fun experiences, fun apps, fun games, things that people actually want to play and spend time in. I do think that's probably so you have the existing people, right? The existing community from apes to Kodas and deed holders and everyone that's in the ecosystem already, right? it seems probably logical to focus on getting onboarded others in crypto that aren't in the ecosystem versus other gamers that aren't in crypto at all yet. But to your point, a lot of those people that are here that aren't already in the ecosystem, half of them are maybe detractors. Where if you look at the gamers outside of crypto, maybe 10% of them are detractors, and it may not even be detractors of the Yuga or the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Rather, as soon as they find out it's got crypto rails, they become a detractor. I don't know. Thoughts on who should they even be targeting? Is it other crypto natives that have been fudding Yuga, or is it Web2 gamers?
I think it is a combination, but I would say 90% who's here, 10% Web2 gamers. Like you could find like 10% like of your efforts spent on Web2 gamers who maybe would be interested in trying this thing out, assuming the product has to be good. It can't just be a crypto game that the selling point is that our assets are in there. We could play as them in crypto. Because like it's cool. Like I like running around as my ape, but Flight Reacts doesn't care about running around as an ape and other side. He cares about, I know he's a sports gamer more so, but like whoever, like they're not, that's not what they're into. So it's got to be a good game if you're going to do that 10% there. But I would concentrate on the ecosystem. Like I would be trying to find ways to reward people for playing in this game who are outside of your ecosystem. How you do that, I don't know. Like whatever that looks like, right? And there's a material risk that goes along with that, but there's also the opportunity to expand your ecosystem a little bit and get people actually using your product. So that's the way I would be approaching it. Now, again, depends what other side looks like. The battle royales have been okay. They haven't been, they've been a little repetitive at the end, right? And like, I like it. It's a good game, but like, it's fun to play for me, like in that sense. But like, as far as the actual, it's a good game for me because I play with my friends. We make strategy plans. We try to do our thing, but it's chaotic. Everybody's shooting, everybody's throwing bombs. So like my question on that becomes like, what is the instance look like? I know that we're testing there.
Let me give you an example. I don't know. I know it's easier said than done. I know it's not a now thing. But just as an example, I've been playing this Zed Champions relaunch by playing like I passively log in and check the thing a couple times a day. The horses auto race, like the only involvement is like what breed, when you want to breed, if you want to breed, and what augments you want on your horses. But it's doing well. It's making money. Now it was also like I had assets from the old game, so I didn't I had to acquire anything to start playing. I just started with a stable of a few dozen horses, and it's enjoyable. The UI is nothing to write home about. The environment, while they have good visuals and graphics, it's nothing special. At one point, this is, a leadership team or 2 or 3 ago, Ebbs, if you remember, talked about building like this world and be able to do a lot more than just race these horses. Like for me, as someone who's here, like I would rather see like that Zed experience in the other side. And this idea of interoperability that we talked so much about back in 21, we really haven't seen much of it come to fruition since. Like that original trailer of the other side, maybe arguably the best trailer ever to come out of Web3, where it had the all the different collections floating around in the helicopter. Like I think that vision still works, and we talk like how everyone's building their own chain now. We don't need more infra, we need more consumer apps. Similar, I don't think we need more open worlds. We need more fun experiences in the worlds that exist. So other side, Decentraland, Sandbox, and of those, like other side wins. Like in a today moving forward standpoint, once it's live, like it's just, I don't know how that happens, but for me as someone here who, I'll play around another side, I'll continue to play Zed. I would rather it be there. And so maybe there's other things that other builders might decide to do with the same assets, right? Like that's what I want to see happen, is this whole idea of interoperability and being able to take these assets from one experience to the other. I think it's much more likely that happens when we have a world that you can that is the connective tissue, right? I kept saying Ape Chain's the connective tissue for the ape ecosystem, and I think that's kind of played out. I think other side could be that connective tissue for game developers, and maybe, again, I say this like I know I could be very wrong and it could not work. It's very hard and it's not easy to do this. It's just I could see this be other side next month be a big leap forward for interoperability in this space.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like, how do you get the first snowball rolling down the hill for interoperability like that? Like, they would have to, on their biz dev end, get people like Zed, who, I mean, it's hard. Like, Zed moved the base. Payne's asking, would game devs have to pay to have their game on other side? Like, that's the question. Like,
I don't think that works. I don't think like it could, like every, it's just, I don't know. I don't like cost wise. I don't think it works, but you could settle. It's just like, I need to put some more thought to it, but it's almost like it's, I think similar to the L2 thesis where like, you could play your races, you do your Zed game, and then it just settles on other sides. So it's like I don't know. So those assets always stay updated. They're always, so if they are in another experience, they are in another game, and maybe Zed's a bad example, but yeah, I just, part of me, like, I'm excited because I'm curious what the hell how they're going to attempt to pull this off, right? Like the nerd in me, and yeah, I do enjoy the financial gains here, but I also enjoy the tech. I also enjoy innovating, seeing new things, and maybe this doesn't work, but I sure as hell hope it does.
Yeah, like I think you can't, like, until you have a attractive, like, people pay to have experiences on Fortnite because Fortnite is played by everybody, right? Like when and Fortnite does their own biz dev, like a Mr. Beast experience. Mr. Beast isn't paying to be on there. They're paying him to be on there. Kid Leroy is not, paying to be on there. He's paid to be on there. But, other companies like, Nike are going to pay money to be on Fortnite, to be front and center with people because it's a logical place to be. I mean, like, you talk about Bored Apes, like, the cost must be astronomical, so I'm not purporting this is a good use of their money, but like a Bored Ape, avatar on Fortnite would be great advertising, right? Because people will be like, oh, I like that Bored Ape, and like it'll be utility for whoever's Bored Ape you use and all that good stuff.
Do we know, what does that cost? Any guesses?
I couldn't even, it's so far out of my realm of possibility, my scope of understanding. I couldn't even begin to guess what a Fortnite integration costs. I can ask ChatGPT if they know, but I know, I know Jonah this morning in the crowd. Otherwise, I'd say Jonah can come up and give us some details on that because I'm sure he's aware, at least a guess. But I imagine it's insanely expensive. But like, if you have a strategic campaign tied to it, great. Cannot see your hand, Joey Vowles, nor do I know if you're on stage, if you're trying to raise your hand right
He's
now.
on stage. I don't see a hand either, but X has been really finicky this week. I don't know what's going on.
I see him as a listener, but yeah, get in here, Joey.
I was wondering because there was a couple times where I thought you were going to pause and be like, go to, and then you did, and I was like, I bet you they can't see me. So I have a question first, going back to what Cap was saying. Do you envision that other side is essentially going to be like a Minecraft or like a Roblox where, or even like, Fortnite has their builder, right? Like, are we thinking that this is going to be a place where people can build mini worlds for people to come visit? Is that what you guys are thinking other side's going to be?
I don't know. I thought it was going to be exactly that. Like, I thought the idea was that you were going to get, because I remember Illa early on, who was on the Yuga team, mentioned getting his plot of land and using that plot of land to build his virtual studio. And we talked about the idea of people building virtual shops, which meant that it would, like, effectively be like a website, but someone would be able to go there and actually be more interactive with the items. Like, I think that's a real possibility. We talked about like VR being another piece, but like, replacing websites with actual metaverse shopping experiences is a really interesting idea to try things on, make them more realistic. So I think there's like a really cool opportunity there to have businesses, gaming businesses, build the theme park, whatever on your land, just have your land that you can hang out on. Like, that was the idea of other deeds. but I don't know anymore. Like because I mean, you've played the experiences, Joey. It's just sort of this big open world cluster of people, like, and they're testing the product. So I'm not knocking it, but it's like, we haven't really had a good directional look into that. By the way, I'm just chat. Go ahead, Joey.
I was going to say, well, that was my first question. My second question was to Cap's point about the Kodas, because I originally raised my hand way back when you were talking about the Kodas. So if you guys are under the impression, assumption, idea that it's going to be, and Von Frutton saying like a Roblox, right? It's going to be a place where you can build your own land, experience, etc. Is there a current, like if you're talking to a gamer, right? A non Web3 crypto person, you're talking to a gamer. Is there a current equivalent to what a Koda is right now? Like if you had to say, hey, a Koda is like this in Roblox or like this in Call of Duty, or does nothing exist right now in your opinion, Cap, that's a fair comparison?
I'm not that deep in the gaming world, but I don't think nothing that I would even.
Well, explain your Koda theory one more time out loud, and I'll see if I can analogize it. But I think, like, what is your Koda theory? Is they're somehow going to earn passive or active money in some way in other side?
It'll be like an unlock. It'll be either an access. It'll provide access that other avatars, other characters won't have, or it'll be a multiplier. It'll be if you're hunting resources, it might, I mean, I know Legends of Tomorrow was spun off and is now Faraway Games. But in there, like that was an example where those Kodas earned more. They were more powerful game characters. But where I don't think there's an analog to traditional gaming is while you might have characters or things in game that are OP characters or they gain resources faster or they're more powerful.
So it's like a battle pass, more or less, like to make one analogy?
No, because like today those any character it's only powered up or only overpowered in a single game. The thought here is that maybe not because it's going to be the independent game developers, but that the benefit of holding that top tier asset carries perks across not in just one game, but across, potentially hundreds of different experiences and games.
Interesting. Yeah. So it's sort of like a Xbox Gold Pass of some sort, right? Like where it's like the pass that you get where it's like, I forget what the pass is called, but it's like they have passes where it's like, you pay one fee and you get, all the EA games and other games that you can play. It's almost like that to a degree. It's not exactly that because it has other aspects to it, but the best analogy you can make.
So like that, plus if you held one of those, it allows you can cut to the front of the line for a Fortnite character, which doesn't exist today, right?
There's like a rare one, right?
It was about a gold pass on Xbox that not only did you get all these perks, but also it allowed you to put your character in Fortnite.
Yeah, or whatever the Xbox pass is called. I can't remember what it is.
So, because I was trying to understand it too, like as a gamer and someone who has paid for skins and battle passes and things, and we look at what asset, because when you look at like you're saying, Cap, like potential financial return, right? Like you can farm assets, like whatever, and then those assets could then be sold or whatever the case is, right? So I guess for me, on the Koda conversation, the part that I'm struggling with is still the entry price, right? So I understand there's a limited amount of Kodas, which makes them valuable. Just like when you look at some of these rare skins that sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars in CSGO and stuff like that, right? They sell for that much because they're either really hard to attain through achievements and unlocks or whatever the case is. So I know there's a limited supply of Kodas, which does make them rare. But I'm still struggling with as a gamer and as someone who's probably spent more than what a Koda costs buying fucking COD points and battle passes if I really wanted to add it all up, right? But I'm spending it in like $50 to $100 increments when there's a reason for me to spend versus spending whatever it is 2 ETH right now for a Koda, right? Which is like $3,000 or 3,500. And that's where I'm still trying to as a gamer, how do I, if I'm a fan of other side, and if I'm gonna help proliferate it to the gaming community. Like what? And again, we don't know. This is all speculation and assumption. I still think that's the biggest struggle with NFTs and gaming right now, is that the entry price for so many of these assets are really high.
So
and that's what I'm trying to wrestle with.
How does the ability to rent or loan out or lease those assets hit? Like, instead of buying that battle pass for $50, what if you could rent a Koda for $50 and you got access to the game for the next month?
That would be cool, right? Again, if we're assuming Kodas are like the unlock for everything, right? Like if you own a Koda, you get to play all the different games that get created, all the different game types that get released. You never have to buy a quote unquote battle pass, all these things, right? If Kodas are the ultimate key, I think that would be cool, right? That would be a cool revenue model for somebody who owns a Koda. Hey, I'm not playing, so you can rent mine for 50, 100. And because it has a weapon or because it has a special archetype or whatever, you could earn more points, which earns you more unlocks and whatever. So that would be a cool model. I don't know. I mean, again, and this is my problem too, is I'm still trying to relate all of this to Web 2 gaming, which it's not, right? It's something completely different. And I'm just trying to find that correlation of like, how do you explain this to the masses to get them to want to come?
I think one of the problems we run into here is the problem is the conversation we're having right now. And this is Web3's problem in general. Like, we talk about it with and again, I'll use Doodle's Dream as an example. You know, I ran some more numbers. I'm having a ton of fun running numbers on potential dude airdrops and things, but we're not entirely sure exactly what Dream that is. And people will be like, oh, well, if you if you attended the dude sesh yesterday, it's like you maybe got some nuggets, but I know it was kind of a vibe sesh that was really community forward, which is like awesome. They need that as a community. But you had a white paper, but like a lot of people are like, I'm not exactly sure what this is and how it's going to work. And there's theories and there's discussions and there's people who say they know, and we don't know what these products are. And I understand people not wanting to be front run, but like, we're now 3 years into Kodas and we're still not sure exactly what they are. So like, to Joey's point, how do you explain to someone why they should buy this expensive asset? We're now 3 years in other side, deeds, and like, we don't know what they are. And like, we're like, there comes a point where it's like the 2021 playbook of like, something's going to come and it's going to be the coolest thing. It's going to blow your mind. I don't think people buy that anymore. I think they need to be told what the thing is. Like, I think in 2021, it was easy to sell Hopium and say, I know what this thing is. It's going to, or it's going to be awesome. Speculate, go buy, whatever. I think we're at the point where we really could use some like large scale communications on what other side is in the product. We really could use some large-scale communications on what a Koda is. We could use large-scale communications on what all these products are that are selling in Web3 and what people are working on, right? Like, I don't know, like we're sitting here on Abstract. It's as clear as day what Abstract is. It is a blockchain. They put streaming forward as their distribution channel. They have quick hit games. They have a couple other dApps. It's like the clarity of like what you're doing is so important to me now. It's a shift from where we were 4 years ago. And I just think we got to get the answers. Like, I don't think the fact that other side's taking this long to develop, I don't think anyone's front running them. Like, I don't think someone's going to come out with something that's front running other side based on what they tell us it is. And I think this is the problem we have in Web3, is that a lot of people are still sticking to like, hey, the mystery, the mystique, watch out. We're going to melt faces. We're going to blow minds. I think people just want to know what they're buying. And I think people's hesitancy to spend thousands of dollars on assets without knowing what they're buying is much stronger, because the only way they're buying and spending that, if they don't have a clarity on what it is if the price goes up. Like, I don't understand why we can't just do product market fit and talk about this product is for you and it's not for you. I don't know, like G Money does. Go ahead.
It makes me think real quick. And then I know Space Kitty came up and I'm sure she has something to say too. And I don't know if she has her hand up or not, because I also, maybe it's not working for me, but real quick. So, but that's the part of me that thinks like there was no plan. Like, and I'm not, by the way, I like Yuga. I'm rooting for them, but it makes me think that when they launched other side, like other deeds and all these characters, it makes me think it was just an opportunity to raise money which it was, right, to build something, but there really was no plan. And I could be wrong. I'm not in the room, but like you said, it's been 3 years. Like,
It has been 3
was
years,
there not a
however.
conversation of what other deeds was going to be when they were like, let's sell $250 million worth of NFTs? Or they just don't want to tell us?
Has been 2 year or 3 years, but they did have essentially a reset. You know, the Allegra era is well documented now. He broke up with Improbable. Now they're back with Improbable. So there was a lot of stopping and starting and resetting in that 3-year process. And I think they had a plan. There's a lot in it that's in these assets from. I mean, just go through the other side collection. Like there was a lot of detail in. There's 100,000 assets that have a lot of resources. There's a lot of artifacts. There's a lot like I think there was a plan. Now, has the plan changed? Probably, but I don't think they just did this thing on a whim with like there's countless hours that went into this. I do agree though. It's at a point now where it's like to what end? And I've been like this whole time. I thought this was a multi-year journey from the jump, but yes, I will acknowledge we're at a point now where with the launch coming up, the persistent other side in June, I'm hoping a lot of this starts coming into clarity, not expecting to know everything, but yeah, I think the air of just complete secrecy until we launch the thing, I don't know as if it's quite as necessary now as it was in 21 and may have some inverse or unintended consequences.
Yeah, we got Mel in the chat saying they had no clue what it would cost or the time it would take to build this, especially people who aren't, who aren't money motivated to build. Regardless how you think about them in general, like Dort says, I think there was a plan, probably not with the details filled in yet, but to say there was no plan is probably wrong. And yes, things have changed over the years. I think they set up lands and artifacts and resources to grow and figure out use cases. They're having a good discussion here. Mel says a plan. Sure. Was it absolutely out of reach? Yes. Did people think money would solve that problem? Yes. But again, builders aren't money motivated. They have enough money. I actually agree with the take of like, I think my feeling is if I had to guess and put myself in those shoes, I'd say they probably had a plan. They probably had a vision. I think they had a vision for an open world. If you look at the other side trailer, one of the things that like a little bit of a soapbox, people love to shit on Yuga or bash Yuga as if they weren't all begging to be in the other side trailer a few years ago, right? Like as if they all weren't desperate to like, oh my God, is that a moonbird in the back? Is that a this in the back? Like everyone wanted to be part of the other side, right? And I think their vision was probably to have a unified metaverse of all of Web3 leading the way with partnerships in Web3. Like, I think that's what it is. And I agree, like with Mel, like it takes a long time to build these. GTA just got pushed back again. Like people were like more confident in like an asteroid hitting and destroying the earth than the next GTA getting released at like a poll I saw recently. It's like, it's just the fact that GTA keeps getting pushed back tells you all you need to know. But at the same time, I would say Yuga probably had a grand vision of uniting Web3 under one product and wagmeing their way home. And I think it was hard to build. I think they went through challenges when they brought on a new CEO. I think they went through challenges in, partnerships and making that work. And I think ultimately that's where we've netted out is that we're now figuring it out and they're sort of at this reset point. But I don't think they didn't have a vision. Like, I think they wanted to have lands that you could build and own that were big, where you could go and play games or own land or whatever it may be. But I just don't know. It's a challenge because I think the plan was probably a unified Web3, and I don't think it worked out that way. But it is hilarious watching people flip around and go from, yeah, like I really want to be an other side and I really want to partner with Yuga to people all of a sudden like bashing them about their product and things. It's like a few years ago, your community was dying to be in the other side trailer. So
Steve,
I don't know.
I looked up when you guys are asking about like Fortnite integrations, I went into ChatGPT and asked a bunch of questions. So obviously the ranges are massive because you were talking about like what people could do on other side. So official collaborations range between 250,000 and 5 million. Branded skins cost anywhere from 60 to 150,000. Immersive experiences, quote unquote, creative mode, between 100,000 and 500,000. And advertising sponsorships could be as low as 50,000 or over $1 million. So those are big ranges. But when you were talking about like what are the potential for other people to come in and do things in other side, it's not going to be cheap.
Well, I think for other side, they would want people on and to share something with them in that way. So it wouldn't be the same sort of Fortnite model, but unless they have the user base. But it's so interesting because I think Web3 got set back so far by the way that we just became like, what is the airdrop? What is the financial aspect? And I'm not like preaching. I got involved with this stuff too. But I think that we got so caught up in this financial aspect of it that we missed the plot on so many things that ended up hurting us and making it like, man, even though there was a financial aspect, you had access to people who had 5 and 6 figure NFTs across multiple collections that probably would have been great users to try to sell to Web2 companies and try to like bring into a place. And now we're at the place where we're at because everybody sucked things dry. I put a pause on some of my writing with some of the other things I was working on, but like I had this whole article I was writing about this whole point where it's like, we just saw this slow drip from like builders. Like Pixel Vault's a great example. Pixel Vault was a ecosystem that was built on this innovative idea of fractionalizing punks, an asset you'll never own. Then it was like $100 million raise. Then it was, we issued, 30,000 planets or whatever it is. Then it was, we're going to burn stake mechanism, reward, game theory. What are you going to do here? Is the comic, is it the meta hero? And it's like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, you had a really cool, innovative product and it turned into this like financial swamp. And I think every single ecosystem went down this direction and it sort of culminated with Blur. I mean, like Blur was like to the point where it's like, all right, sell your NFTs at a loss to try to like play for an airdrop. And it gets to the point where it's like, we did this thing. And now like this idea of, we basically sucked our own liquidity dry of our NFTs at the expense of a few who, took advantage of it. And now it's like people aren't clamoring to do this thing anymore. So I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure the direction we go, but I just think it would behoove. I've been saying for 3 years, I would like Yuga to kind of sell us what a Koda is. I'm hoping that they do that sooner than later with other side coming out because nobody's really fully aware of what's going on here. And like, I just need a plan. Like, I think we're at the point where like, I think we've entered an era where people just want a transparent plan. They don't want speculation and, this might go up or this game theory. I think we're at the point where if you want to grow, people want to plan. Enough people have left the space who got burned financially. The people who are coming in are going to care about the actual sort of product and tech more so than the money. Because people who want money, they're trading meme coins now. They're in different worlds than us. They're on Pump Fun and Boop and all these other places. So like that ship has sailed. I don't know. Space Kitty, I saw you pop up. I don't know if you have thoughts on any of this. Feel free to jump in on anything we've had. I don't know if your hand's up because spaces aren't giving us hands. It's discoverability is low. So go ahead and jump in.
Raising my hand because it says that I keep raising my hand even when I don't. So now I'm just patiently waiting because the hands are just not working for anybody anywhere. But thank you. Actually, I did have something I kind of wanted to throw out there. A couple of points. The first one is just, you're talking about the pricing and, well, if it was $50 and so forth. And I think that a lot of that is just kind of related to impulse buying. When users can impulsively buy something that maybe they shouldn't have necessarily spent it on, whatever, there's a lot to be said there. That's where a lot of volume for a lot of things really comes from. It's just kind of the impulse buy. And when something's like 2 ETH, well, you don't just usually, most of us don't impulsively buy, something for 2 ETH. So, there's that. And then on the Yuga topic, under promising, is definitely, I think, a part of it. I definitely think that there's realization issues just in, the fact that there's reality when it comes to the creation of what Yuga's doing. They have to, I imagine that they have run into a lot of things that they've had to either redesign their ideas around or pivot. That's every builder everywhere in the history of anything being built. We have to pivot. And so I do think that's part of the issue, but also, if you just look at typical time frames, I know we have like this funny expectation here in Web3. If we look at build times for games, just games in general, like forget that it's a metaverse, it's got all these things going on it. a small game, typically like a small indie game for Unreal, is going to take you 1 to 3 years to build. A mid-sized game is going to take 3 to 5. A triple A game, though, we're looking at 5 to 7 years plus to build another 1 to 2 to polish that, right? And so when we kind of think about it in those time frames, it's like, well, you know what? Maybe they are building something that's just very large. At least that's my hope. I hope they're not just sitting up there, doing a whole lot of very little. I hope that they're doing a lot. But when you look at the time frames, as long as what they deliver matches, I'm excited to see if it matches the time it took them to create it, I guess is what I'm saying. It takes a lot of years to build, things. So I hope they're doing useful things with their time. It would really be nice if they would check in with us, though. I mean, no one wants to hang on for like 8 years and be like, without any kind of real updates or information. At this point, I think that it will be hard for other companies who have not been working on this to just catch up with them. So I feel like there couldn't be that much harm in telling us some things. But of course, we don't know what we don't know, right? So I don't know, but I just wanted to kind of just point out, the time it typically takes to build things like games, because sometimes we, kind of forget that our calculations.
Sorry, I think I was on mute and I was talking. I apologize. I was gonna say I like what you said there as far as like, these games take a long time to build. What is it going to ultimately deliver based on that time they've taken to build? Because they are now at the point where they have had theoretically ample time to at least build something pretty solid. So what does that mean for the ultimate product? And does it help us, does it rematch what you'd expect over a 3+ year build? And we're just going to have to see what that looks like. But yeah, I agree with you on all points. And I think there's probably an underestimation in the amount of time it was going to take to build. I think there's a lot of things that played into like what happened with other side, including, like we said, the Allegro era and sort of the corporate era that happened in Yuga. But yeah, I mean, we're going to find out, like, is it an offline game that calls to an online game, that to different instances? Like, what does that look like? Like, I could see a browser-based game that you play and it's only truly on the blockchain and you're actually playing online in that way when they do instances. So I think we just have to see what happens with it. So I don't know the answer to it. I don't know. I'm also, just as I've been calling it out, the dream, there's a DreamNet thread that I need to read, which I will check out after the show. Maybe we'll talk about tomorrow. As I was saying, like, we want to know what DreamNet is. They did drop a thread, it looks like. So we'll see what that is. But I think tangentially related to this, quick flyover and then one other like topic that we could probably close out on. Did you see your state is rejecting Bitcoin reserve bill? Now I believe 7th state to reject a Bitcoin reserve bill. Not great.
I did not see that. Following Arizona's suit, huh?
Yeah, I think they just paused altogether on it. And I think part of it is, even though Florida is a little bit more forward on, sort of is a little bit more in the camp of like being friendly, Trump friendly. I do think that there is this thing where, you've got Trump basically hosting these crypto galas, which is showing a conflict of interest. And I think people are increasingly connecting in with him. Like, I think he's hosting 2 crypto galas of various kinds, like a dinner and something else based on tokenomics. And it's bringing up a lot of conflict of interest questions. And I think that's throwing us for a loop.
Phunky, what's happening? What is our great state of Florida doing? GM, thanks for jumping up. Our local.
Yeah, no. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I'm at the gym again, but I just wanted to say real quick, the bills are not necessarily dead. Okay, the legislative session has been extended until June 6th. So the one in the House was going well. The one in the Senate was having problems because of infighting between Blaise Goglia, who's the DeSantis guy, and Joe Gruters, who's the sponsor on the Senate side, who's the Trump guy. But as far as I know, it is not dead. I'm going to post a link from Sam Armez, who's the president of the FBBA. He's the one that I went to Tallahassee with, and he kind of explains this a little bit better. But I just wanted to jump up because I heard you guys talking about it while I was working out and just wanted to chime in for a split second. But I'll drop that link so you guys can get a better understanding of what's happening. But it's not dead yet. So there is still hope. But worst case scenario, it'll probably get passed next session, which will be early because it's an election year. So that'll happen next year, like in January. So it's only a few months away if it doesn't get through this year.
Sweet. Appreciate the update. And yeah, we'll pin that link up top.
I did it again. I was on mute because I was sniffling, and you probably thought I was muted again. Are we going to see like this just basically on pause or on hold until the next election cycle comes around in 2 years, the midterms, and do we just see it put on straight ballots and the people will just get to talk? Like, is it just going to be that? Is it just going to be like, hey, people of Arizona, like, is it at the point where like the legislators aren't going to pass it and we're just going to see this go to vote? I don't know. Like, I wonder if it's just going to be at that point, if we're just going to like kick the can down the road for another couple of years.
I hope not. I don't think so. I don't know. I guess like as far momentum's weird, right? It goes both directions. And for as exciting as it is all these bills getting to their states for vote, you get one governor to veto it, and it's like the thing starts coming unraveled. I don't know. I still remain optimistic that we see state strategic Bitcoin reserves sooner than later. I think we'll see one before the end of the year.
Who knows? Your move, Texas. I guess. I don't know. I don't know who else is. If you're not getting Arizona and Florida, I don't know who you're getting. Like who's introducing a strategic Bitcoin reserve? Wyoming, Lummis, maybe. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if they're electing her, so maybe that's the case.
Trying to think of a way to segue to this one. Sensitive subject.
I don't know if this is real or fake. If you're going the direction I want, so I don't know.
Yeah, so both ways are very disturbing and sad. Either way, if it's real, it's extremely disturbing and sad. If it's fake, it's extremely disturbing. It feels somewhat of an up. We should probably at least touch on it. We can punt it if you don't. I mean, it's awful if it is real. I've seen conflicting reports as well if it is actually real or not.
Yeah, I don't think we should cover it. It has to do with somebody potentially taking their own life in the crypto space, but it sounds like we don't know if it's confirmed or not. And so I don't feel comfortable talking about it until we have a more clear perspective if people are engagement farming or what on stuff like this, or if this actually happened, which would be, like you said, it's disturbing on both ends and sad on both ends. So I would prefer to skip over this one.
We can skip it. Just PSA, be a good human being. If you choose to purchase NFTs or meme coins or a token that goes to zero, that's you made the decision to purchase that. Don't make threats. Don't bash devs and the team. Like, be a good human being. And so this is even if the entire thing is fabricated and fake, again, it's disgusting and disturbing, but it can be a very cruel space at times. And there's a lot of young individuals in this space. And I don't know. Yeah, probably a good one to wait till we get more information on, though, to your point.
Yeah, no, it's not fun to be the main character in a bad way at times. And it's not great. I actually want to get your opinion on this, and then maybe we can, if we close out earlier, but I want to get your opinion on this. So Pon said this. I voted 4-6 in it. I thought it was an interesting question. How many NFT communities are you active in? Active equals you know what's happening, and you're actively helping that community reach its goals. I guessed 4-6, right? I guessed 4-6. That was my guess for myself. I didn't really think about it through. Like, I think about apes. I know I'm involved in that. I'm relatively involved in doodles. Obviously, put out threads on that. On-chain monkey, I really like. And I have to look at like my, I'm sure I'm like, my brain is just mushing to a degree. Good Vibes Club. So that's probably my 4 right there. But I don't know, like V-Friends would be my 5th, obviously. I'm definitely involved in V-Friends. So that's another one that I truly like and, enjoy being part of. But I don't know, like, I'm curious, your community that you think you're active in, how many would you say Because I feel like it was like more than 6 for everybody. And now that we have all this different fractured attention, for non-NFT communities, chain communities, all that good stuff, I feel like less so. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably say more than 6 because of this show. If I wasn't hosting this show, it's probably 2 or 3 would be my. Does that make sense? Like I'm active. I'm not like in their discords, but I pay attention and I feel as if I'm helping them achieve their goals because I share that information when I find out about it on the show. But if it wasn't for the show, I'm not tweeting about them on the timeline every day. Like I don't know if are you helping the community achieve their goals? That's the tricky part of that question. And I would say yes, but if not for the show, it's maybe 1. 1 or probably 2, but with the show, I think still more than 6. But I agree with your sentiment or your take that feels like the overall sense of consolidation, and at the same time we're talking about Good Vibes Clubs and Morusu and Final Bosu and these new communities that are minting. I mean, looking at that, the results of that poll, it's the next new NFT community that mints is likely taking away active community members from other existing NFT communities. Is that probably accurate?
Yeah, like the question in the chat, we got Be Epic saying, is Abstract and Pudgy the same community? And I say no. Like I think I think they did a great job bifurcating those two things. Like I think there is a advantage to holding those assets for sure, and the people who have the highest Abstract scores hold those assets. But I don't think of those as the same community. I think of those as different communities. I think as Abstract is one thing. They've got rec drinks and all these other things. And I think of I think of Pudgy Penguins as something quite different, which is why I would say I'm active in the Abstract community, but I don't consider that an NFT community. Like, I'm relatively active in Gigaverse, but I don't consider myself part of the, I don't consider that an NFT community. It's a game. Pirate Nation is a game. Like I think of the NFT community as being, a community that is anchored based on some level of brand anchor. And to me, it's like Doodles, V-Friends, Bored Ape Yacht Club, On-Chain Monkey. Like those 4 come to mind for me, and I need to think of.
OCM, do you see Steph just picked up one or swapped for one? Do you see that?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. He did
game 6 game jersey for OCM Katoshi.
Yeah, right? Yep. I believe it was a Katoshi. Although I didn't see it was a Katoshi, I thought it might have been a Genesis, but I need to look back. But yeah, I mean, I look at ones that I would have answered. So just to give context, we'll go to Space Kitty in a second. I think I see a hand now finally. But I was going to say, I would have looked at my Discords, which some of them not in. What would I have said in 2021? I would have said Bored Apes. I would have said Gutter Cats. I would have said On-Chain Monkey. I would have said, I would have said Goats. I would have said, but
shit.
I missed it too. Yeah, I know.
Damn it.
I was ready to play it at 6
So was I. I was actually looking forward to playing that.
I was ready to play at 6 p.m. and it was 6 p.m. West Coast time, and I was playing Halo with my brother. I thought they just postponed it or something, so I missed it. But I would have said Thingdoms. I would have said Subducks. I would have said V-Friends. I would have said Zed Run. I'm sure I'm missing some too. So, I was involved in a lot of ones, and Alien Boy, I would have said Alien Boy. Like I would have been involved in like a dozen of these things and was actively participating, involved in the Discords, having conversations, hanging out. Hash Masks is another one that I think about. Moonbirds comes to mind. I was like, it was the point where when we went to NFT NYC in 2021, 2022, we were exhaustedly running from place to place across town in Ubers because we had Royal Society of Players would have been another one. Like I could probably name you a dozen communities, House of First, that I was involved in, and I was running place to place to be in various, events that I would go to and enjoy. And so I think like that has really, really changed quite a bit. So I don't know. I think it's interesting, but anyway, I don't know. Space Kitty, go ahead and get in here.
I was gonna say, when it comes to community and being active, so I'm actually incredibly active in well over a dozen communities. I keep up with what are they doing, It takes an ungodly amount of time, though. It takes every single minute of my day continuously checking in to get those updates. But it's the only way I can actually really be involved with the projects, and I try to be, if it's something I'm holding, I try to be involved in it. It does take a lot, though, to do it. But talking to the topic of just dilution of community, I guess, is really a good way to say it. As more things come out, they're spreading. But when we have small chains like 8chain, a lot of times these quote communities, it's really just the same people just moving over to a different chat, or maybe certain other ones are more active in that chat than maybe they were the opposite chat. But it's really a lot of the same people. But to really be active in a lot of those communities, it really does take a ton of time to really get in there and support those communities. So for me, like if you see my PFP, I've got all those in there. I try to say that, like, my saying is one PFP is Fudsickles. That's what I try to say, because you can represent and be a part of a lot of projects. It takes a lot of effort. So for projects that are community based, I always tell people, like, hey, if it's just community based, make sure you've got the time to do that. It's a lot. We take on more than we tend to really be involved in, and then we just contribute to the slow death of the ones that we didn't make time for. So it is a lot of work. So kudos to you if you're in more than 3 or 4. You said 6. That is a lot. That's a lot. It does take a lot to do that. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of point out that the time that it takes to really be involved in those, a lot of people don't realize like how many minutes it takes for those who are involved in keeping up, so they can give everybody updates. So thanks for keeping up with the 6 that you do and bringing those updates over to us. I know it's not easy work.
No, I appreciate that. And yeah, I think to your point, it's like, it becomes something where it used to be, I think it used to be a lot easier. And I think for a lot of people, it's much harder now. And so I'm with you. I think it's not an easy thing to do to keep up with. And, it's one of the reasons why I need to probably have more empathy at time. Like, I had a lot of people on my Space Doodles numbers telling me, telling me I didn't know to launch to space. I'm like, how did you not know? Weren't you paying attention? Like, but I think, I think like that's probably, I think that's probably like, I need to understand that most people aren't terminally online. And so like, for me, like that's something that it's my, like, to Cap's point, it's my job. And I think it being my job fundamentally changes how I approach it. So I don't know, Cap. I don't know. Like, what would you say? I mean, think hard. Like, what are you involved in, and how involved are you?
It's a tough question. I mean, the answer is I'm not involved in as many as I would like to be, but I would make excuses as to why I'm not, and I think it comes back to we've been ranting about how our disdain for Twitter group chats and how that's basically wrecked our DM experience on X. X is the connective tissue for crypto Twitter. X is the connective tissue. It's the home base for NFTs. Discord, we complained about it a lot back in 2021. As we're talking through this, I do think that it wasn't the reason that the music stopped and the onboarding became a mass exodus and new entrants stopped coming in. But that fragmentation for me, I mean, to Space Case point, they're like a lot of these are the same people. I know it's probably not the answer, but what if it is something like is there something that comes in? Is it even possible to replace Discord and Twitter as the primary home base for crypto Twitter and NFT communities? Not a singular one, but all of us together. Could it be something like Other Side, like a different spin on the Farcaster and the Lens protocol and all these that have attempted to spin up a copy pasta Twitter type app for crypto natives? Like, what if it is something like Other Side? I don't like, honestly, I don't see, like, they had like the bubbles, like their version of Spaces. Cool. We're not leaving Twitter for that. Like, unless everyone here left there, like, is it even possible? And I don't know. Like, you would think it would make sense for all of us to be together more than just on X, but I don't know.
We've seen other people try that, right? Like we've seen like, okay, what was it? Skirpy, I think it was, had like that social media thing come out last run where he was trying to like get everybody over on it. It's really hard to convert people over there.
Yeah.
Over here, you have a market where you're going to meet people who don't even know what NFTs are.
Right.
So they don't have to know what it is in order to make that transfer over to the platform, right? Because there's no transfer needed. They're here. So you've got over here, you've got new faces, new wallets, new people you can market to, along with the people who are already involved in it over here. And that makes it really hard to compete with as a platform to change over, because you have to not only convert the people who are here who already know what that is to use a Web3, who might want to go to a Web3 based social media platform. You kind of lose all those new users who don't even know what it is. And we have more people who don't know what we are than do, right? Still technically, I mean, if you went into the world and asked, more people are going to go, no, I don't know what that is, than yes, I do. We're seeing those numbers change. But it's not just everybody's, secondhand, like everybody has social media now versus they didn't before. Not everybody has Web3 stuff or knows what that is. And over here, if those projects and different companies, whatever Web3 based, are here on X, they're able to then, have access to potential new users, right? So I think that makes it really hard to compete with, and probably not replaceable anytime soon, in my personal opinion.
I don't have a good answer. Because X is the answer, but X is so noisy, and it's why people miss stuff. It's like it's why, like, but
and we also have Telegram in the mix now too, Steve. Like it's X, it's Discord, it's Telegram, and we're fragmented across those three apps. We're fragmented across all these multiple different communities, and yeah, I don't have the answer either. But yeah, Telegram's another like that. Yes, it existed in 2021, but most of NFT conversations took place in Discord, and now I feel like all those same people are also in dozens or hundreds of different Telegram chats now.
There's no good place to gather, and you need to, like, I mean, I'll say this though, like, and I'm just gonna, I'll rant on my marketing thing. Like, you need to get, like, I've said this to probably at least 3 separate NFT communities, and it was effective with Starbucks. You need to give people a reason to show up every day so that they actually hang out, to build and foster that core community. Because one of the things I found out when I've done, like, digging in on various communities, is that communities oftentimes have a completely fractured base of some people who are in X group chats, some people who are in chats on Telegram, some people who are in chats on X, some people who are on Discord, and they're not the same people. Like, you'll talk to people who are, you would consider the bastions of the community, and those people will say, yeah, I don't really hang out in Discord. You need to find a reason to unify people under one place if you want to have that level of consistency and you want to have that level of participation. I think it's as simple as that. Like, I know it seems oversimplified when I say it, but it's like, give people a reason to show up in Discord every day. Really dedicate yourself to making Discord a place to be. I still think that is the best place, based on announcements, based on sub channels, based on data and information sharing. I think it's better than Telegram, personally. Yes, you should have email distro, which VFriends has a really good job of that as an example. And you should have various other ways to communicate, and you should communicate on X, and you should have group chats, and you should have active team members. But I think it's like pretty straightforward to me personally that I don't understand why more communities don't say, here is a reason to show up in X show up in Discord every single day. You check in, you get this, we'll have this, we have these things, here's the sessions we're doing. It's like, I just, all these community-based brands don't build communities through a community hub. And I've gone through this a million times, but it's like, I've said it to multiple NFT brands, so this isn't like unique to one or the other. It's like, have some sort of daily check-in mechanism, right? Starbucks, you can get a bean every day, and and there's a whole system around it. Every month there were giveaways. It was the equivalent of like $27 of giveaways or something, but people came every day to sort of get to those giveaways. Give people reasons to show up to your community hub. Make it Discord. I still think is the best place to do it. Have regular active events, have active mods, have active people, and you'll have a good community. I think that it's just, we don't see the strength of community building or the drive of community building nearly as much, or focus marketing towards that stuff. And I think it's one of the follies of this space.
I will add to it. You've said this a few times. Specifically, more NFT communities, clubs would benefit from having a professional membership director. Not every NFT project, every community has a Dort and a Law of the Saw that may on a Welcome Apes account 24/7 and host a space every week and help onboard new members to the club. And hey, I think it would probably benefit Board Ape Yacht Club as well to have like a more formalized position. I know they have several individuals on the team that do an incredible job, not taking anything away from them, but I think like in hindsight, as we reflect, I know it's easy to look back now. I think that was a big miss during
but it's not hindsight. It's something like you said. I've been saying this for 4 years.
Yes. But I think even more so during the Mania period, it was a big miss. It was very hard to do them because it was thousands of people. Whereas now it's like you might have to, talk to, a few dozen a week. I think a lot more people probably would have stayed if they were given reasons, if they connected on a deeper level than it was just they got in and they're because potential for a 10x. And then when it didn't hit their 10x or it went to 0, they were out because they didn't make it to an NFT NYC. They didn't make it to an Ape Fest. They didn't have a chance to build those deeper connections. I feel some membership directors probably could have helped some of those along the way. And I think today it's still it's surprising that more haven't focused on that, on the welcoming and not just welcoming. It doesn't stop. That's just the beginning, right? Like I think a good membership director would it just especially for the club community approach, I think it makes sense. No, like why
I don't know. I mean, I worked at a top 100 golf club when I was in high school as a caddy, right? Like I was like the guy brunting, carrying the bags, whatever. And like I very specifically remember the advantage of having our caddy master, who was, a guy who everybody knew and liked. He had features written up on him in like golf magazines and things and it made a difference. People felt some type of positive way because he helped members stay engaged, stay happy. They enjoyed it. Like he, tended to their needs. There's no job too big or too small. Oh, you like, to give an example, a membership director example, it's like, oh, we don't have that, hoodie in your size anymore. Let me go source it for you because you are a good member of the community and we care about you. Like these are very real things that you don't see. Like a membership director who gets to know who's the real people in the club who are, about it, who are the ones who aren't, doing features on people and whales and others, and having like the Good Vibes Club feature on Dort. I have no idea why every single NFT brand, and I said this in 2021, wasn't doing features on top members and making them feel special and having them featured on things and having them, like giving them like flowers and, talking about the value of them, particularly talking about Bored Ape Yacht Club. Like the club was the value. Why weren't you highlighting your Jeopardy champions who are in your club? And I think like those are the things that are like, a membership director not only maintains the relationship, not only are they an ear to tug on when you have something to say, but they're the people who are actually going to change the way people feel about it and amplify your membership. And just be there to help when needed. And I've been saying it for 4 years and yet nobody has done it. Everyone's always been like, yeah, it's sort of a part of their job, or, oh, well, the community will do that for us. It's like, if you have a club, you want to have a membership director, plain and simple. But, saw your hand go up, Phunky. We'll go to you, and then we'll go back to Space Kitty. Phunky, get back in here.
Yeah, real quick, just because I got to jump for a meeting. But Rahim, he's actually doing this in real life. So when I was at the Martin Market breakfast, he was telling me, because, he's the founder and CEO of ArtStyle. He's actually doing an IRL version of a membership directory and helping connect people in Dubai. So as people move into Dubai, they're building a physical clubhouse for ArtStyle. And one of the things that he wants to do is literally have a membership directory for like who belongs there, what their role is, what company they work for, if they're independent, whatever. But then also facilitating like, I guess, biweekly or monthly meetings where people can get together, and then we'll literally help them with their visa, get them onboarded into Dubai, and get to know the rest of the crypto scene. So he's literally doing an IRL version of this, but I can completely concur on everything else you guys have been saying. I mean, it's so spot on. And I also am sort of a fan of Discord just because it's so organized, even though it seems like everybody hates it. So yeah, great conversation.
Totally agree. Number one, obviously Rahim's a friend of all of ours. So we appreciate him and everything he brings to the table there. And Yeah, man, agree on agree across all chords, obviously. And like I think it's just it's one of those things I think like this isn't Monday morning quarterbacking because this is something I've been saying for 4 years about all of these clubs, all of these communities. Why don't you have a communications person and why don't you have a membership director? It's like two things where it's like communicate the tangible value of existing within your community and show why you're better. Because not everybody's Luca Netz who's really good at communicating their message off the top. And then number two, have a membership director who does these things. Like it's really easy to have those things in place. Like I try to sort of serve that role a little bit in Starbucks where I was like the Discord, community lead, but I saw myself as a membership director in the sense that like I would talk people through various issues and things they were having and would talk about concerns and did handle a lot of DMs and things. I don't know, man. It's something that I don't understand why to this day, every single one of these communities doesn't think is an important thing to have because especially in a hyper competitive space, if somebody is buying a $5, $10, $20, $30,000 membership, why do you not want to have a front door that sees when that was bought and find those people and get on the phone with them? You see somebody who's like a big member of the NFT community buy one of your NFTs, jump on a call with them. I don't know.
Steve, I know we're wrapping here. I saw Kitty's hand fly up and a couple other just closing. Actually, we'll go to that. I'll let you get in. And then some breaking news this morning. And also we didn't talk about, we'll hit on it tomorrow, but there's an Ethereum hard fork. Pectra happens tomorrow, I believe. I don't know what we'll punt that to tomorrow, get Phunky or one of our more technical inclined friends on here, but the staking change, I know that goes from 32 to like a couple thousand ETH, and there's some other stuff happening with it, but I don't know all. Worth a deeper conversation tomorrow. I don't know what time or about what time that's supposed to be, but the breaking news though, I'll get to after we get to Kitty here. So remind me what the breaking news was. Kitty, go ahead.
Oh Lord, I'm gonna have anxiety the whole time I'm talking, trying to wait to get to the breaking news. Okay. Well, first, I want to say on the Discord thing, one of the issues that I have with Discord for me personally is just that it got so messy from 2021, where we were tag teaming our friends to grind for a whitelist for us, and we had Discords for everything. So it's like an old email account. Like I just want to delete it and start over almost. Like how it gets super full and cluttered. That's like kind of my only real drawback with Discord. What I'd really like to see though, wanted to mention was, I'd like to see some of the chains or some bigger community groups or somehow host more than one project in a singular Discord. So, because if I could go to one place, I hate Discord now because of the last friend. I traumatized myself there. But what I'd like to see, one thing that would make me more interested in going to Discord would be if I could have multiple projects where I could go in and I could collect all the drips at one time, where I could apply for all of the raffles for my NFTs or whatever in one place one time, not have to chase down 55 million different channels who each have their own 55 million additional channels within them. That would be easier. But I wanted to ask also, after throwing that out there, what do you think would increase, user activity to that migration to Discord? Like, what would it take to achieve that? Like, what do you feel like would fuel that?
How do you get more people in a Discord community? I think it's a matter of like, well, one, I think the automation you talk about is important instead of like, doing like, I think there is opportunity there. And then you could tag winners, obviously, as they have connected accounts. Again, I'll use the Starbucks example because I think it's a great example. They had and I've recommended this to a lot of people and nobody has copied it. On-Chain Monkey did it for a period of time, but deprioritized the banana check-in. So I don't see it as much anymore, but give people a reason to show up every single day. So in Starbucks, they want to incentivize good behavior, the concept of like helping someone out and spreading the love. So every day, every 24 hours, or made a reset at midnight, I can't remember, you would have the opportunity to claim a bean and give a bean, meaning you would send a coffee to someone or get a coffee to someone, send a stack to someone, and it was loaded with all the seasonal snacks. So it's like, I might type hot drink, Space Kitty, and it'll be like, Steve sent you a caramel macchiato, and you might say snack to Steve, and it'll say, Space Kitty sent you. It'll pick one at random. It would be like a, vanilla bean custard Danish or something. Every time I do that, I get a bean and you get a bean, meaning you get a bean for me sending you that, and I get a bean, right? So the idea is like you are able to do that. there's also a system by which if somebody helps you out, you can gift them. Meaning, let's say that you help someone onboard into that Starbucks community. I might say, you did a great job. I want to send you 50 beans, Space Kitty, like, because I appreciate you in this world. At the end of each month, there was a drawing where I believe we netted out at the end of it on like 10 people who would get 1,000 Starbucks stars, meaning they'd have the ability to get themselves 5 free drinks, which doesn't sound like much, but to normal people who aren't NFTs, who are over financialized, 5 free drinks is a pretty good prize just for showing up every day. What you find is that at that cafe channel that I mentioned becomes a really active community channel. And then people stop by and hang out in the Discord a little more on a daily basis. They wanted to check in and do their daily active check-in, but they have other reasons to check in. And then from there, you start to get people who are able to find other channels where they truly want to engage and discuss things in. And so there's different ways to do that, but that's like one very small example of a way Starbucks encouraged daily active users within their community to help show up each and every day. And then people maybe hang out for a while and stick around a little more, and you start to see where that would work. So that's one example of like a way where it's like, you just do a monthly raffle, you give people a reason to check in, you incentivize positive behavior by them tagging someone else. By the way, you're giving a Discord notification to someone else that they're getting something special. They're going to want to show back up and then do that. So it's like one example of a very easy, low cost incentive at the cost of, I guess, like, if it's like, 5 free drinks, let's call it like, $10 to $20. It's like when it was 5 people at the beginning, you're talking about $50 to $100 a month for a multinational company to be able to say, we're going to get active fans participating. So things like that. And then also there was at least a couple of events a month. So like for this particular crew, Starbucks trivia was particularly popular, where you would have like things like, which one of these is a real drink? And you'd have like drinks that were maybe from other countries that were different things. And, so you'd have the trivia. People got invited to that. By the way, there were rewards for first, second, and third place in that. And eventually I think we legged it out to 10 places in those. And, those were highly attended. What else did they care about? They cared about inside information. We got the inventor of the pumpkin spice latte to show up and give, a presentation. Occasionally we do those coffee talks. We did a coffee tasting where I learned how to properly taste coffee. So like having a cadence of like, okay, we're going to have at least one of these events a month, one of these events a month. So at least 2 events a month, plus this doesn't give them too many events, gives them different places to be, tested different times, had them showing up on a daily basis. We're able to see a more engaged community because of it. And the numbers reflected it. Little things like that for an NFT community that fits with the brand of who your community is an opportunity. Like daily active users, an important metric, an important stat. Why would you not want a club to feel engaged every day, proud of it, explaining to people? And guess what? When those Starbucks people won those stars, you better believe they're going to brag to their friends who aren't Starbucks Odyssey members, who aren't in Web3, that aren't participating, about winning that prize. So I just think there's so many opportunities like that. That's a small example of one community where Starbucks did it extremely effectively. But I don't understand why more people don't want to drive people to Discord in that way, to say, let's get everybody under one roof and unify the community, versus saying, we got some on Discord, we got some on Twitter, we got some in Telegram. Like these brands are creating more channels like that versus less. And I just think it's one thing if you get people onto email and you get text, because that's a whole different ballgame, right? I get texts and emails from BeFriends, but that's different than the Discord and different than the X. But if you had like Telegram, for example, that's a redundant channel to Discord and to some degree X and private chat. So that's kind of my general thought. So that is a very high level answer as one example, like just sort of like at a 30,000 foot view, but feel free to get back in here.
Yeah, I have a follow-up question. So I think that's, definitely that's been, the name of the game for a while, bribe them over and they will come. That's kind of been, but I guess my follow-up question is, I heard when you said, 5 cups of coffee may not seem like a lot to NFT people. That was kind of the statement. And so my question, I guess my follow-up question for you would be, what would you say it would take to really convert those NFT users to going? Because like some of my communities, like they will try to bribe me up there with drips and claim this, raffle that, whatever. And I'm just like, no. NFT people were harder to move, right? Because we're used to these quick, big wins. And like it just takes a lot to like hit our dopamine, right? Sometimes to get us to do things. And so what do you think it would take to really see a conversion where people from our space start to primarily use that as opposed to X? I guess is kind of where I wanted to go with it.
Well, the same methodology could be applied in different ways. So I'm making it up just to answer your question on the spot. If you give me more time to think about it, I could think of a better mechanic. But let me give you an example. Let's say that I decide that I want to unite my community under one roof. So I say, hey, if you have old NFTs from communities that are now defunct, and I might name them, you can send them to this wallet and that's your entry to win blank. Or like, I don't know, like that could be one way to get people over and say like, we're going to get them. And then you can maybe give away, if you have a treasury of making it up for, the sake of argument, let's say that who's popular right now, like a Good Vibes Club has a treasury of like a dozen Good Vibes Club. So that's one Good Vibes Club a month. You can do a giveaway once a month where you give away one Good Vibes Club. And I think people in Good Vibes Club will care about that from that aspect. And you can find various ways to do the check-in. So it could be your own NFTs from your treasury. Likewise, I've been saying for a while, like, I think like Yuga and ApeChain could do an awesome move if they had sort of these blind box giveaways on, where they had events hosted where they did blind box giveaways with raffle mechanics where, you sort of bought packs similar to what you would buy with Doodles, and maybe some of them would have ApeChain NFTs in them, and some of them, there would be a couple of Chase items, Bored Ape Yacht Club, a Mutant Ape Yacht Club, things like that. Serums could be in there. And they could do some of those, and they could do, giveaways based on having a certain number of those. I've talked about the idea of if you sort of stake your NFT or don't sell your NFT in some soft staking mechanism each annual year on the launch of again, use the Bored Ape Yacht Club example because it just happened. So in the sort of, May launch of Bored Ape Yacht Club, you could have an event where you do, every day that you keep one of your NFTs on ice and don't sell it or move wallets is an entry. And then each one of those entries equals into something. And you could do those in Discord and have people need to be there attended so that you want them to do it. You just need to put the incentive structure in ways that gets people over there. And to your point about like the cups of coffee thing, I think people would actually probably do it in some Discord for those lower prizes, but you basically have one chase prize a month. So maybe Good Vibes Club does that. The other thing you could do is if you have enough participants, which they did in 2021, you probably wouldn't even need to pay for your stuff, right? A lot of what Gary gave away to his gift codes, which I know some people didn't love those gifts, other people did, was you could just get stuff donated by people who want access to your community. So like, is it hard for, could you do like a jersey swap, so to speak? Again, could Bored Apes give an ape to Pudgy Penguins give an ape, a penguin to the apes? And that's the giveaway item for the Discord. You do cross-community collaboration. You have a big chase item. So like you could do that as well, where each month you could have different giveaways. Goats did this, I believe, for a period of time. Maybe it was Royal Society of Players. I know they both kind of did this a little bit, and it was pretty nice. Like I think it was Goats, and I think it was relatively effective for them at the time. So I think there are ways to do it. But it's more than just giveaways. It has to be more than that. Like you have to be actively engaged. It has to be exciting when you get there. There have to be active mods. There have to be active community leaders. You have to encourage those community leaders. Maybe the active community leaders get the opportunity to participate in a focus group that gets them a reward that helps you shape the brand. Like I think there are so many ways to do it. It's just, I don't think anybody puts tangible thought to it. And this is the whole point of a membership director is you would actually put tangible thought to how you're going to work on retention, how you're going to work on membership engagement. You're going to have KPIs based on surveys. You're going to get tangible feedback and you're going to adjust accordingly. So I don't know, a lot there, but I think there are ways to do it that actually makes it work and gets people who are actually interested in, participating in the community versus, just like, I just think like being like, come to the Discord, there's some vibes and occasionally you get announcements isn't a really good, unique selling point. So a lot there.
But so that would be, great for, that's how people typically get people over there for like a, singular community. But in the way of mass adoption, are you thinking, because you're talking about how to convert a lot of users over, that there would be that platform shift or whatever. How do you see that tying into platform changes? Does it take just a lot of synchronicity between a lot of communities all kind of working at that at once? Do you feel like maybe chains or larger groups within the system should start kind of combining people to pull them into a singular Discord? Or how do you see like that playing into mass platform shifting into that Discord?
How are you defining mass adoption? Are you defining mass adoption as
rather than X being the primary hub for NFTs, like we had talked about earlier, like that X and certain places are kind of our primary huddle spot, I guess you could call it, kind of where everybody goes for those. And you're saying that Discord would be kind of a better place to host that, primary gathering place for everybody in our space or whatever, like Web3 users. How would that shift occur, or could it, in your theories? Like, do you have an idea of how a mass shift could change, where that became kind of our primary user base as opposed to over here? Like, how do you see that change?
I mean, as far as like Web3 as a whole, I mean, I was more talking about like how an individual community can do it. Web3 as a whole, I think that ship has largely sailed, because I think what we are defining here as mass adoption is sort of PFP communities, more or less. And I think that there's such a fractured ecosystem that I think there's going to be chain communities, just like there is with, you know, Polkadot and Abstract and everything else. I think there's going to be NFT communities. And I think that we, you know, as far as like unifying them, I think I don't have a good answer on that particular part of it. And as far as mass adoption goes, I don't think people are coming in for PFPs necessarily anymore. I think there was an opportunity for that, but I think we missed it with how we approached it. So I think we're just out of luck on that one. I don't have a good answer, and I think that answer is probably above my pay grade. I'm sure somebody's thought about it, but I think that's a pretty big one. But I you know, again, so I don't have a good answer. But Depressive Hack, saw you come up and throw your hand up. Let's get you in here, and then we will probably finish out.
Yeah, GM guys, I just wanted to pop up real quick and kind of talk about the tops cards that Gary's come out with for VFriends. I think that like one of the things I haven't seen a lot of people talk about is just how beneficial community can be for even like collaborations outside of the space. So like I've been trying to get on more platforms in the last couple of months because obviously we're a little isolated here. And I was looking on Instagram, and like the amount of comments that were on the Tops post for the VFriends cards compared to like the amount of engagement that Tops usually gets on their stuff was very noticeable. And I think that like one of the things that gets missed is if you really do focus on some of the things that Steve is talking about, you really have an opportunity to show brands that have nothing to do with Web3 that you want to work with, something different than what they're used to. And metrics like that are known and measurable and don't really take any like knowledge of what we do here on chain in order to be able to see like what the benefits are of working with a Web3 native project or a company like that, right? And I think that type of thing, to be able to show value like that in a community, will make it easier for more collaboration with different entities that are outside of what we do here. I don't know, just some broad thoughts that I've been having after watching what was going on there. But I just think that it's a really different type of collab than partnering with like Web2 native entities, in my opinion. I just kind of want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, I also think VFriends is just playing chess while everyone else plays checkers, so that's a whole different ballgame anyway, because it's a whole different type of community. It doesn't always run the biggest numbers on X, but those collaborations are super helpful. Something you kind of touched on, though, that I want to like tangentially say before we move through that is like, I think people underestimate how much Web2 people would like Web3 type community. Like, I think we underestimate how good it is to have an online community where my mental health is drastically improved by being here. My mental health is drastically improved by the fact that I have friends that I talk to every day. My mental health is drastically improved by I have people from all around the world who I know, and I can go to any city in the world and find a couch to crash on. And that's not because I host a show. It's because I'm active in Web3. And I think that is something that people underestimate, where, I saw it with the Starbucks community. There are people who weren't Web3 people who loved being part of something. And I think people miss out on being part of a team. That thing that you haven't been able to do since high school, college, whatever last time that you made real friends is. Because I know, like, my closest thing that I get to making real friends, which they're awesome. I'm very lucky that my kids, their friends have really cool parents. If my kids' friends' parents weren't really cool, I'd be fucked. Because, like, I don't go out to, like, just meet people when I have, 14,000 activities and every hour of my day is planned and I have the kids and the dogs and everything else. I don't have time for that. But Web3 does that. And I think communities in general do that. I think people vastly underestimate how awesome it is to be part of a great community. And I think people just don't, I think people miss the mental health benefits of being part of this.
I agree. And I'll wrap it with this. The bold take is to tie it all together this morning, the conversation from other side to online communities and where we communicate and everything in between. A few points, actually. I think there's a giant gap between the younger generation, specifically gamers, and adults and those that don't game. If you think about things like Fortnite and Roblox and Grand Theft Auto 6, which that was the breaking news, is they just released the newest trailer. And while the game is still a year away, but also a reminder, we should give Yuga a little bit of grace on their timeline on the other side, because Rockstar's shipped a game or in their day, and this is, feel like a decade in the making. But I digress. There's clearly a market for it, right? Like people clearly enjoy it, and I think you have a lot of online communities in the gaming arena, in the gaming world, because to your earlier point, there's something for them to go do, to converse around, right? It's not just that they have things in common. There's a daily active task, or maybe it's not daily, but there's something for them to do together. I think this is where, in the most overly optimistic, maybe hopium, call it whatever you want, like maybe it's not other side, but I still do think there's something like that could bring more than gamers together, that gives them something to do, something to interact. And when I say gamers, like I think there's a lot of people that play a lot of fun casual games, but like while there's a Roblox, there's a Fortnite community, there's a Grand Theft Auto community, I don't think there's a Candy Crush community. I don't think there's a Clash of Clans community. I think most of the like adults our age, if they game, they play solitaire, or they play Clash of Clans, or they play chess, and they just lack this community element. So I do think, because I agree, I think that people aren't here would enjoy this, would appreciate and really like what we like about this space. It's just introducing that to them in a non-hyper financialized model that has nothing to do with monkey JPEGs. And I do think there's something there. And then related, I did pin up also, Cold Link just shared that you can now, you can Cold Link any ETH or Solana wallet to a Roblox username, right? Like, just like, so it's, yes, more people outside of crypto, I think, would really enjoy and get benefits from this community that is here. I think as the tech continues to move forward, things like that with Cold Links, to where people that are in those, whether it's Roblox or Fortnite or Grand Theft Auto, as they start getting intertwined with this world, I don't know. I don't even know where like the exact thought I was attempting to lay down there, but I think that yes, there is value here. A lot of us, we show up every day. We didn't leave for a reason. I think more would like it. It's just, how do you get them here in the first place? And I do think platform, a game, an experience, something that's more than just the community itself, right? Like, how do you Trojan horse them into the crypto community, I guess, is the thought. But good conversation. I appreciate everyone who added to it. Appreciate everyone who jumped up. Appreciate everyone who's powering through the X issues with hands and whatnot. But looking forward to talking a little more Pectra tomorrow. I did pin up a great post from Georgie Boy from the Alien Boys. They great thread for anyone that wants to read in detail. But seems like that's not the other one. That's probably the best one, the most thorough. But he calls it a foundational update. That this lays the groundwork. It's a foundational type upgrading, meaning it enables everything that comes next. So basically, when this upgrade goes live, all of our wallets today will become smart wallets tomorrow. I mentioned the validators, the staking cap raising from 32 to 2,048 ETH. But when your wallet becomes a smart wallet, Steve, you'll be able to batch transactions. You'll be able to sponsor gas. You'll be able to have social recovery. I don't know how that works, but that's a really big deal, right? And that's like, I need to put more thought to it. But that's the dots I was attempting to connect. And Georgie's post calling it foundational. I do feel these foundational layers are important, and I do think we might be one killer consumer app away from just a massive onboarding event, and it may be something that none of us are thinking of right now, right? ICOs had their mania, DeFi, then NFTs, then meme coins. Like, there's going to be something next. I just don't know as if we know what it is. And I think all this entire conversation this morning is important to keep in mind when that thing does hit, when we do have a next moment of, it's not just us talking about this stuff, but you turn on the TV and they're, you see Gary on, doing a media tour again. You see them talking about this stuff on, the front page of all the, the main traditional website news websites. I think like that next thing, let's remember, like, we can all do our part as well in terms of helping these new people experience this place in more than just the number go up type that is often short-lived, right? Like, I think that hopefully some of this foundational layer, there will be, well, maybe it is just X, maybe it is X and Discord and it's not other side or some other new platform. But I just think understanding how, some of the things we missed last time, it doesn't, yes, in some cases it's a lot easier if the projects just do it, but it doesn't have to be just them. I think all of us who have been here can help, not just onboard that next wave of users, but help give them a reason to stay here beyond just the numbers.
That's my feeling. I feel as though we are going to ultimately see like community built brands happen from other, like, I think we're going to miss the plot and the opportunity, to be honest, if I'm looking at it. Like, I think we're going to miss a lot of opportunity in this world because you could have onboarded people into these communities and shown why they're so magical, and somebody else is going to get out in front of it. And we're going to be sitting here in the cold. Like, why didn't everybody want to join my Bored Ape Yacht Club or my Doodles community or my whatever this? And it's like, well, we treated this a little bit differently than possibly could have. And I think, we're going to see community built brands happen, whether it's from big brands or new and emerging brands. So that said, we can let everyone sail off of their day. I know we ended up running longer after talking about getting out early. But that said, Cap, I think we let everyone sail off in their day.
Yep. Shout out to Machiavelli who joined us late. Hope all is well, but glad to see you out there in the chat. And yeah, if you haven't done so, as Steve wraps us up here, go smash that carousel, hit that like reminder, book park, hit your reminders for the shows for the rest of the week. We would appreciate it, and hope you all have a great Tuesday.
Yeah, great Tuesday for everybody. We will talk to everybody bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody.
Thanks for tuning into Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, nothing we discussed today is financial advice. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to the future.